Listen, anytime, any place, anywhere, I'll fight you in your back garden. Like a dumb Klitschko, I'll beat you, you bum. You're a bum.
I want to unify. Is he up for the challenge? Like I said, I declare war. You know, this is not a battle, this is war because I was born.
While you are sitting in your mum's spare rooms, just tickling your bollocks.
Come and see me, baby. No more hiding, no more ducking, no more dodging, no more excuses. Let's make the fight happen. Let's see who's the best. I know I'm the best. Are you up for the test?
I'm through. Hey, put somebody else up and give me an interview. What are you talking about? You never give me a fair shake. HBO needs to fire you. You don't know shit about boxing. You ain't shit. You're not shit. I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass.
Negative. I'm good. I beat Polly. I left with his belt and his girl.
Fucking was too fast. But it wasn't so much about it, was just that he was so fucking fast. Fast.
Amazingly fast.
Fucking amazingly fast. I was like, I thought Freddie was in there fucking hitting me too. So
Any of you radio personalities think you want smoke? Call me Mr. Chimney. I want smoke.
Yes. What is up, MCR family? Another daily edition of the show live on YouTube, obviously podcast from iTunes, Spotify, radio, etc. I'm Matt, the Hipster Hunter. You're listening to Mixed Combat Radio. It's definitely going to be a fun show today. You know, in the green room, even though everyone was late, tardiness from, the group here. I can tell that everyone's in a silly mood today, so this is going to be a fun one, especially when we get to that Deontay Wilder topic. It might go from silliness to ranting from you two, but I cannot wait to see that. That will be fun. But we do have some really good fights to talk about this weekend, or at least a really notable fight. Maybe the top-ranked card was more entertaining than we all thought it was going to be, but no one cared about it, let's be honest. The Canelo Jacobs card was kind of not the most depth card of boxing. It doesn't have talent through and through in competitive fights, specifically through and through. But that main event surely was a really fun fight. I've sort of gone back and forth as to what I think or how much I think of that fight, how good of a fight I think that is. Definitely cannot wait to talk about it with you guys. But of course, I'm joined as usual by the illustrious, the one and only, the Han Solo of MCR. Second cousin, twice removed, of Sir Eddie. Rob, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Everyone in the chat, thanks for being here. So I was a little late, but it was the season finale of Line of Duty. And as much as I love you guys, you know what I mean? I'm sure if it was the season finale of Game of Thrones, the whole story finale of Game of Thrones, Matt wouldn't be going live right now. So,
well, to be fair, I wouldn't. You're right. I would just work around it.
Yeah. That's why I said 10:30 instead of 10.
2:30. 2:30.
Well, all right. Well, I'm not there. But yeah, Canelo Jacobs, loved it. Great fight. I think Canelo has completely solidified his pound for pound number one status in my eyes, anyway.
I am so happy that everyone is now agreeing with me about that.
Wasn't he my number one on my list? The one that had more thumbs up than your list?
I don't think he was. We can go back.
I thought yours was like Anthony Joshua, Anthony Fowler.
That was my trolling list, I think.
Maybe Count Smith was in there too. Luke Campbell is obviously in your top 10.
He will be.
Anyways, Rob, finish your intro. I'm sorry, I interrupted you. My bad. I apologize.
It's all right. No, the card, like you say, it was an A-side kind of card. Although Saddam Ali kind of fucked up on that department, but let's get into it. And obviously, Deontay Wilder stuff. It's always good.
Always funny. But the peanut gallery over there, Fugatti, the Chewbacca of MCR. Fu, how you doing over there in Dallas?
I'm good. Everybody seems in good spirits. Was it It was a great fight last night.
Everyone's been. That's a relative term there.
I love boxing Twitter not being happy with whatever's their complaints are about Canelo Jacobs. It's weird to me, but it was a great fight. I enjoyed it. The card was, like you said, it wasn't super deep or anything. Virgil Ortiz looks great, but the Wilder stuff is, it's just going to keep coming, I guess. We're just going to keep talking about heavyweights that don't fight anyone.
As long as they keep interviewing him.
Yep. But yeah, let's get into it.
Let's get into Canelo Jacobs.
Fun show.
Let's get into Canelo Jacobs. Let's first talk about the in-ring action itself, and then we can talk about maybe bigger macro narratives coming off of the fight. But I thought this was clearly a competitive fight that turned into that. The first 6 rounds were really Canelo styling on Jacobs. Yes, the first 3 rounds or so were close because just the lack of, I would say, real clean shots landing. Any real guy being decisive in the round. But it clearly was Canelo styling on Jacobs in a sense. His defense was on point. He was landing really good body shots. Jacobs, the orthodox stance really was struggling. And then Jacobs, around round 7, 8, started switching the southpaw more consistently. Started really being more aggressive throughout the rounds. And on top of that, Canelo started sort of dipping a little bit, as is sort of customary for him. He takes rounds off in rounds 8 to 10, usually round 7 to 10. Usually those are rounds he takes off, and Jacobs was able to gain the momentum back. But I think, again, he was outgunned. I think he was outboxed. Whatever Jacobs did well, Canelo did better. But what we did get was a really fun back and forth fight as the fight ended. I would say the last 6 rounds of this fight were really, really entertaining. The back half of it was back and forth. It was competitive. Fu, your thoughts on the in-ring action? Canelo picking up the unanimous decision win. It feels like this one, there's no controversy in it, and I like that, even though I do see some people throwing out a draw scorecard. I've seen a very few say Jacobs won it, but it seems like everyone's okay with Canelo winning, and I like that. I like that there's not this forced controversy of this decision. Your thoughts on the fight?
Yeah, Fu, give your thoughts, because it's not like you didn't do the live fight chat last night, and we already know your thoughts. But yeah, you go first.
Ooh, look at yo, Fu, I said it before the show started. He's getting a little testy over there, man. Might have to cut his pay.
He's getting some testes.
Testes. What are you, 13?
Wait. You totally set me up for a.
What made you make that decision?
Well, he indicated to me that he was hitting the testicles.
No, I mean, like on the live fight chat, we talked about this. Like the first, 2-3 rounds are in a fight like this are always going to be they're typically so close. Like those rounds are very hard and usually the most controversially scored rounds in any like big fight. And then 4 through 7, Canelo just looked amazing. Like he just looked like he was going to, like by the 5th round, like me and you were like, oh man, Jacobs doesn't know what to do. And then Jacobs really made a comeback like 8 through 10 by going to southpaw. And then for some reason in the 11th and 12th round, came back out orthodox and kind of gave the rounds up. So I was a little frustrated with that, but overall the fight was very good. I had Canelo winning 7-5. I could definitely see a draw. I could see swing rounds going Jacobs' way and Jacobs having a very close win on people's card. So I think everyone's pretty happy with the turnout here. I mean, I think a lot of people wanted Jacobs to win because there's a lot of Canelo haters, but I think the weirdest thing for me out of the whole thing is listening to very prominent boxing voices on Twitter say that it wasn't a good fight or that it was boring. That's just weird to me, but
agreed. I really agree. Rob, I know you want to talk about it, obviously. So The floor is yours, man. Your thoughts on the fight? I know obviously you weren't on the live fight chat, so you didn't talk about it then. I assume you have a lot more to say than maybe me and Fudu. So, Rob, floor is yours, man. Single camera on you right now.
Sorry, one more thing. No, I'm just playing.
How's my hair?
Rob.
Is it all right? How's my hair? Is it good?
Well, yeah. What hair?
Yeah, exactly. I really enjoyed it. I thought there were some real close rounds, like you say, maybe the early rounds when they're feeling each other out a little bit. But just standout things for me is Canelo's defense. There's I'm sure there's a famous clip of Ali where he's just very minimal movement, just moving the head, literally just rolling his head around, and the guy can't land a glove on him. And there was a combination that Jacobs threw. I can't remember what round it was in, but it just wasn't near landing a glove on him. And Canelo is just supreme, and I just don't get where people say like they didn't enjoy the fight. Maybe it wasn't like real high pace, but I think it was such a skill level on display. I think, in their middleweights, I don't know whether some people get confused. Like, it wasn't like super high pace fight and this and that, but maybe they're thinking of some of the lower weights where there is a little bit more.
And then on top of that, like maybe it's the lack of dramatic moments in a sense. But then again, like Triple G fights didn't have any of those. If we think about the Triple G fights never had knockdowns. There was never moments of people getting hurt. There was momentum shifts in a really back and forth competitive fight, and that's what we had here. It was a highly technical, highly competitive, but it was a high octane fight. Especially again, the back half of the fight more so than the first half. But the back half, there was moments of back and forth exchanges. Let's not forget that fucking left hand from Hades that Daniel Jacobs landed on Canelo. That still haunts me. Honestly, like I've gone back and watched that video at least 2 or 3 dozen times on Twitter because like there's the video, it's the GIF right there on Twitter, right? And everyone's sharing it. And every time I see it, I like grimace. Like I'm expecting every time I see it for him to get hurt, and I've already seen it, dozens of times now. But every time I see it, I'm like, oh, he's gonna get hurt. Nope. Damn.
No, it's crazy. I think you said it in the live fight chat. Jacobs must have thought, yeah, that's the shot. That's the one. Like that felt crisp. That felt clean. That just snapped. Oh shit, he's still coming. Like what the hell? What have I got to do?
He took one step back, kind of like shook up his body. Was like, okay, I'm good. And then just kept going forward again like it was nothing, man.
Yeah, he like just literally, oh, right, let's go. He's like, damn. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure Shakur Stevenson in some way knows a hell of a lot more about the game than me. But to tweet out that he rode the shot and kind of that you heard it, you can hear it on that clip you're talking about. You can hear it just slap into Canelo's jaw. And so combine his skill levels, I think, was it Cotto's brother that rocked Canelo way back? I think it was.
Way back, yes, it was.
Yeah, he
yes.
had his legs all fucking jelly legs.
Abner Cotto, right?
And have we seen Canelo hurt? Really?
There was that one moment in the Mayweather fight, surprisingly, where like he looked like he was bothered, but never wobbly, never traditionally no stanky leg, nothing like that.
So yeah, maybe a couple moments in Triple G, but it was like he recovered quick. There was like maybe 2 times I remember in both fights where he caught a body shot and he looked like he moved backwards, like that's what he would do if he was hurt, but he recovered quick.
There was that one time in this fight that was reminiscent of that. Remember Jacobs had Canelo press up against the ropes and he was landing a really good combination. A bunch of those were to the body. Somebody in the chat, Dwayne, saying people who didn't like this fight don't like high-level boxing. I don't think that's a good defense of this fight because that's what we defended the Mayweather fights with, or Pernell Whitaker, right? Like, any traditional defensive fighter, we've always used that line as a defense as hardcores. Oh, if you don't like that, you don't like the sweet science. You don't like the high-level boxing. If you don't like Guillermo Rigondeaux, you don't like Floyd Mayweather, you don't like Lomachenko in a way, you don't like high-level boxing. This was that, obviously, but this was an exciting fight, guys. Like, we use that line for Mayweather versus Cotto or shit like that. You know, like Mayweather versus Mosley, we use that line. This is a lot better. This was a good fight, guys. I mean, I would really push for anyone out there to tell me 5 fights this year that are better than this right now. Like, if you had to make a short list for fight of the year contenders, this is probably on that list, guys. I would probably put it. Maybe it's like Doheny, Rahman, Rungvisai Estrada 2, Peterson Lepinets. You know, like some of those fights have really stuck out to me. This is one of those fights. And I feel like a lot of the people, and maybe this is where we can, you know, sort of jump off from the technical aspects of the fight and more on our critique of boxing Twitter, because we all, I think, have that opinion. We all want to rant about it a little bit. The same people that have done nothing but criticize this card, this fight, DAZN, Matchroom, Golden Boy, all of them combined, also have that same opinion, that this fight innately wasn't that great. And I don't understand how that logic flows. You know, or I do understand how that logic flows. You're just a hater, like you're just a critic. You know, like that's cool, but you know, like Eric Lipkin, right? That's his name. You know, I follow him on Twitter. He's been going nonstop attacking DAZN in the last 3 or 4 days. Rob, you've interacted with him a few times. Yeah. You know, and it's like,
yeah, he cancelled his subscription, but went to Hooters to watch the fight. All right.
And the criticisms of everything around this event, I feel like there are criticisms to be had, but the people criticizing it aren't doing the right criticisms. They're saying, oh, it's an app. Guess what? Netflix is an app. Guess what? Hulu is an app. They dominate the cinematic industry right now.
Spotify.
Dominate it.
Spotify.
Dominates the music industry right now. You know, so little
New kids on the block, you know.
You know, apps, in a sense, run the entertainment industry, right? So it's not that. Innately, it's not that it's an app. Is it overpriced? Absolutely. I will argue that all day, Rob. And I know you don't like that, and that's fine. I understand that it's cheaper than pay-per-view. That's great. But it's fundamentally a streaming app. So you have to compare it to streaming apps. And it's above market value cost. So I understand that criticism. But the people that are criticizing it aren't saying that. They're not saying that. They're saying it's just an app.
It's hurting boxing.
It's hurting boxing. And like that innately is not the issue. It's not hurting boxing at all. Should the price tag be lowered? Absolutely. Should they add more content to it to make it better? Absolutely. Should they add better content to it instead of, I forget it was pool. But they called it something different, like snooker or something like that. I forget what they called it.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not, like, that's pool, right? Like, but
no, it's snooker.
Right, and it was right before the Canelo fight, and like that was one of the top things that was live for them. And I was like, why the hell am I paying $20? I'm not paying $20. I'm grandfathered in for the old deal, but eventually I pay $20 a month in theory for that. Why would I want? That's not content that anyone wants to see. DAZN. Yeah. But again, the criticism of DAZN that is right, I think, is not apt for this event at all.
Very quick though, I've got Spotify, and 90% of the music on Spotify, I'm not signed up for that. Probably a good percentage of the movies on Netflix, I haven't signed up for that. So it's content that's there. It's something for maybe everybody, whatever.
But Rob, Netflix has literally hundreds, if not thousands, of different IPs that you can see, right? Like different shows, different movies. They have hundreds, if not thousands. DAZN has how much?
I don't know. I haven't got it, Matt. I'm just saying.
No, but I mean, in theory, like they have boxing, so they have Golden Boy, Matchroom, and World Boxing Super Series content. They have Combat des Americas. They have Bellator. I think they have another MMA promotion. I think it's like KSW. I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think.
Which is a decent regional promotion in like Poland and Eastern Europe. And then they have the MLB highlight show, right? And I think they have like horse racing and like stuff like that. It's just a very limited content base. So when your content base is limited, then when you have the snookers of the world, which is just pool, I don't know why they fucking just changed the name.
It's not.
What is it? What is it? I didn't watch it, obviously, but what is it?
It's on a table that's probably bigger than that room you're sat in for a start. I'm just saying, you wouldn't.
Is it more like Is it more like
American thing? I wouldn't say so. It is to me when you said that, because it is actually the World Snooker Championships right now.
Yeah, that's what it was.
We'll
Thank
be
you.
crowning the world champion of snooker, but
Woo!
exactly why that's on an American market, I don't quite understand that myself. But snooker's like big here, like the same as darts and all these weird games that you guys are like, what the hell? But it's always been big here. Way back when, there's a famous final that went on till like 1 a.m, and there were millions and millions of people in the UK stayed up to watch it. It was crazy, but it's big here. But like I say, I don't know why it's on in America. But
and again, back to my point, those criticisms of the zone are there. They're valid. They're apt. We should discuss them at all times. Not all times, but
I know there was a lot of people who had struggling, like the zone had took their money, but they couldn't watch the fight and that, and people wanting refunds. The whole weigh-in streaming completely fucked up on the YouTube channel, and I don't know quite, because it was fine on Golden Boy's Facebook channel, so I don't know quite whose fault or what error or what the issue was, because as soon as I realized the YouTube was kind of fucked up, I went straight to Golden Boy's Facebook page, and it's exactly the same video feed and audio, but it was working, but YouTube wasn't. So I don't know where that fault lies, but there's been a lot of hiccups, and I've seen a bunch of people saying they hated the commentary, they didn't like all kinds of things, but you know,
yeah, but literally no one has a good commentary team.
That's not true.
I don't enjoy very many of them. Like, I always mute the fucking fight because there's always an agenda behind the commentary. So I just mute it. I always watch the fight with no commentary. Even if I'm watching by myself, I never listen to commentary. So I never get those criticisms. More of what I'm saying is I don't even know how bad it was because I never listened to it.
Really? You don't understand the criticism, or like
no, I
do.
I do understand these guys, right? Because this team is absurdly bad. Like this zone team is really bad.
Then I understand what you're saying. I just wanted.
And I heard Froch was really bad with Coldwell and
he's always
the other gentleman.
He's always bad.
So
Froch is one of the worst commentators in the sport.
He talks about himself all the time in the middle of the fight. It's so weird.
Did he ever tell you about the time he knocked out George Graves in front of 80,000?
Wait, 240 kilos.
Wait.
What did Froch do? I've never heard about this. What happened?
He was like, good food. He knocked out George Graves in front of.
Wait, did I almost get food?
No, but what everyone was picking on him because he mentioned something about how he can bench press 240 kilos or something, and Coldwell was like fucking with him or something, saying he didn't believe him.
Oh right, yeah. He kind of gives out sort of, I think, wacky scorecards quite regularly. Dave Coldwell's really good on it, by the way. I really enjoy Coldwell on the commentary side of things. And Adam Smith's Adam Smith. You know, he gets all, lift off for AJ. He's got all the, I guess the, was it Mauro Ranallo sort of sound bites? Bombs away for the bronze bomb. He's got all those kind of lines. He's got them. I swear, he's got scenarios down and like certain lines for if certain things happen.
I just think that your scoring goes better if you mute the commentary because there is like a swaying of the way you view the fight when you listen to them push one fighter the whole time.
Absolutely, but that's not what people are talking about. People are talking about like quality of content and production quality being low, and in a sense it is like. But again, that's probably an industry-wide issue: is production quality for boxing. That is an industry-wide issue.
Yep.
pacing. Oh.
It's not. I wouldn't even say the pacing is the problem, even though that was an issue.
I just will never understand why you haven't got prospects lined up for 4-rounders and stuff like that instead of just leaving long gaps without.
Or let's rush these 4 or 5 fights out of the way. Oh shit! Now it's only 2 hours out of our broadcast. We need to eat up time here because guess what? It's Las Vegas. Everyone's still in the casinos drinking right now, and then it'll come out till 8, 9 p.m. for the fights. The theater was completely empty for Saddam Ali, Jojo Diaz. There was a lot of big fights on that card, big fights relative sense, that it was the Vegas crowd or the infamous lack thereof.
They bought a Canelo ticket. That's
yes, of course. And I understand that. Like, I've been to Vegas fights. I've been to T-Mobile for a Canelo Triple G fight, so I understand how the crowd responds to it. But digressing from that more to the criticism of DAZN in this event, I think, I am curious about what is the subscriber gain from this sort of event. I know we're never going to see those numbers. But for all the people out there listening that maybe don't like DAZN and criticize it, I don't think this is the card for you guys to have those criticisms for. I just fundamentally don't think it's that time. Especially the week after they gave us hardcores Roman Doheny and Estrada Rungsviad 2. Like, come on, guys. Have some self-awareness here. And then what, in a week and a half, we get the next World Boxing Super Series card. That looks fantastic. So it's just
AJ,
not.
And then Triple G. And then Usyk. There's a lot coming on.
Devin Haney's debut.
And again, when we criticize the zone, guys, let's add nuance, complexity to the argument, and on top of that, frame it correctly. Because if we attack Canelo Jacobs or Joshua Ruiz or one of these individual cards with our criticisms of DAZN as a whole, to me, it makes your criticism invalid, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but hey.
It'd be interesting to go through some timelines and see if they had the same energy for Easter Bartholomew. The numbers dwindling on Showtime.
Wait, Easter Bartholomew didn't do well?
I wonder what the rematch is going to do.
Great fight.
The rematch is on.
Or the same people say hey, look, Spence Garcia was much bigger. It felt bigger. True. Okay, cool. But let's be honest here. What was a good fight?
Exactly.
Well,
that was competitive, right?
What was a unification fight? Like, let's have some fucking self-awareness here, people, when we criticize boxing,
Two top three middleweights squaring off, or do you want to go with the massive 147-pounder against the WBC lightweight champion, which was again $75 for just that card. I don't know. Pick your argument or phrase it properly, or if there's legit. Look, I didn't see the feed. I had a crystal clear Sky Sports.
Very quickly, my DAZN feed was great. Though I will add this, everyone. I have noticed that my phone app has issues. Like, for some reason, it always will end up buffering. When I try to watch anything off my desktop or my computer, I have buffering issues. My PS4 app for DAZN, flawless every time.
Yeah, you said that before. Through the PlayStation, it's great.
And so I've just figured out, hey, look, if I'm going to watch stuff for the show, like for live fight chats, I just have to do it through the PlayStation because it's going to be way ahead of whatever Foo's time is. I'm always 30 seconds ahead of Foo, and I never have issues. Though, minor issues with their cameras. Holy shit. Someone bring a fucking rag with that cameraman so he can clean the fucking shit. Because that thing was foggy as hell. It was annoying. And then the other side camera they had was constantly out of focus. Just sometimes they seem a little bit amateur, their production. That's a little bit frustrating. But again, fight was great.
If I'm flag waving, as you always think, I just obviously hope they're listening. I'm sure they are, because nothing's better than customer feedback, whether good, bad, indifferent, whatever. And they will make adjustments. that's all you can do, I guess, as a business model, is listen to what the people paying the money are actually saying. So I don't know.
They just need a good color commentary guy. They really do. Like it. I just don't feel. I don't know. Like if you remember watching like the HBO fights in maybe like the mid 90s,
Yeah, I remember that.
you know, like the commentary was fun. It was like it brought you kind of into it, but oh, no, I don't die the beer boy. Boys, no. Someone called me Dan Bilzerian a second ago, guys. That was hilarious. I don't know if you guys caught that, but that
I
cracked me
did. I
up.
just don't respond to the chat as much as you do.
But I think that what we're missing on the DAZN cards is the atmosphere looks good in a lot of these fights, but it doesn't translate. And we've mentioned that a lot. And I don't know how they fix that, but that's what we need, you know, is it needs to feel, especially like a Canelo Jacobs, like people mentioned, it doesn't feel like a pay-per-view fight, even though it's pay-per-view quality, because I don't know why. And we talked about this a little bit in the green room, but not during the fight, because it was a great fight. But it just didn't feel massive, you know?
And it's a very simple answer. It is. And just one that is just a reality, you know, of adopting a new paradigm of content distribution. You're going to have a smaller access or smaller accessibility window for your content, because now your distribution is completely different. You know, Golden Boy used to distribute their content through HBO. You know, how many millions of subscribers do they have worldwide? You know, now they go into DAZN. How many subscribers do they have in the U.S. or worldwide? You know, it can't be a lot. It can't be really comparable to HBO. So you're gonna have a limited audience base in a sense, and that's the payoff for it, is that this new model that has to be pushed, because in a sense it's just an inevitability, guys. Like, streaming is just the future. Almost every other sports entertainment industry has adopted streaming, and adopted it pretty well. Boxing is kind of the last one to do it. Even like the big four sports, they have their own sort of streaming packages in a sense through cable providers. So, I am of a firm belief that that's just a payoff. Like, for adopting to the new age model, you're gonna have this small window of a transitionary period where there are less people watching some of these fights. There is less exposure. But guess what? Fighters are making more money. So at least they're not getting hurt by it. You know, that think about it. Like, in that scenario, the one group of people you really have to worry about the most, other than maybe the consumers, is the fighters. And the fighters are getting taken care of the most now than they ever have been. So I just don't find that as a groundbreaking criticism of DAZN. Like, yes, okay, the audience number is smaller. So what? Fighters are making more money. You know, we're adopting the new model, the new paradigm of content distribution. Finally, it took boxing way too long. We're behind the curve. That's why we're having this rough transitionary period. And again, I just think that the small, 'cause I do think it's a small, vocal contingent on social media that care about it and get angry at DAZN and somehow want to glorify pay-per-view. Those people are just, again, a small vocal minority, and we can ignore them and move on, honestly.
Yep.
I mean, quickly back to Canelo. He's 28 years old. His resume is just fucking unbelievable. I think he's just getting better and better. And I think we'll probably get into news of where he may go from this. But yeah, I thought he was outstanding. And I want to just say, I thought Jacobs eventually came into the fight, and I thought he put up a tremendous fight as well. And he was part of what I thought was a really brilliant fight. So shout out to both guys. Left it, maybe not left it completely all in the ring, and went, you know, full full hammer and tongs and going crazy for it, but it was a high level fight, and just shout out to both guys. Really, I thought I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I really also liked listening to Jacobs talk about kind of those middle rounds when it was brought up to him that he seemed to be struggling. And he was just very real. He said Canelo was hard to figure out, that he's just fucking good, So I thought that was it was a good moment for Jacobs. He seems like a great guy, honestly. I mean, I don't know how you can't like him.
Absolutely.
Absolutely
agree with that. And plus it was one of those fights that you can see just I think it was maybe you, Rob, that said it on the preview show that like Canelo's peaking. Maybe it was Fu. Maybe it was you.
Yeah.
You can just tell it. Like you can just see like the finished product that is Canelo at this point in time. Like I went back and watched Miguel Cotto leading into this fight and Laura, and it's just a different fighter. Like it's like there are obviously like you can see Canelo, like you can still see some of the things he still does today that he relies on, but he has just added so much to his game that he boxes just fundamentally different than he did 4 years ago, 3 years ago. His sort of transformation to being a pound for pound number one boxer has been awesome to see. Like I know people hate on Canelo. I'm a fan. I've always been a fan of Canelo. Any last thoughts on Canelo Jacobs, guys?
No, I'm a fan now. I mean, he's proven he'll fight anyone. Like Rob said, his resume is impressive, and he's 28 years old.
Did you hear at the weigh-in, with the whole shoving thing, and afterwards they asked him what meal will he have after the fight, and he said something like some fish and like some pasta, and then she said, "Oh, not beef." Like he was like, and he was like, "Oh yeah, true. You can't beat beef." I thought, oh my god.
The funny part is though, is like go back and watch that because when she says that, like just a throwaway question, his smile changed and goes, "What?" And she goes, "Well, haha, that's what the Jacobs team they're gonna have carne asada, haha." And she says in Spanish, so like Canelo relaxes, right? You can tell. And Canelo's like, "Okay, better watch yourself. You're not getting the job again next time."
Yeah, we'll see you next year. Probably not. Asking me about fucking beef, Jesus, I was laughing. And then Twitter went a little crazy when it was suggested that Canelo told Jacobs to go fuck his mum. And I was like, is that actually the literal translation? But no, it's just like motherfucker kind of thing. But yeah, I was laughing. But very quick, what did you guys think of Jacobs deciding not to bother with the 170 clause, the next day?
Who cares?
I mean, he spoke on it. He said his team just agreed that it was better for him to go out and lose that money and go out a better fighter and than to drain himself more for that much more time.
Quickly, I mean, I've heard like he's gonna make like north of 10 million for this fight. So I mean, 1 million, yes, it's a lot of money, but he's making 10 times that in this fight. I think in his mind, he thought it was a tactical decision to do that.
I mean, Eddie spun it that he had every intention of, doing the 170, but he woke up, he was the 173.6 or whatever it was, and at no point did they think, oh shit, I better cut this weight, so close to the fight, the morning of the fight, I'm not going to go weight cutting early in the morning to try and limit my financial penalties. It was like, whatever, And Eddie
he also said that's all water weight. He said that was all rehydration. That way he didn't it's not like he went and ate a bunch of food. He's just a big fucking guy. He's gonna move up weight.
It still cost money, whether it was water or fucking cheeseburgers,
And plus, like, I mean, it was only 3 pounds. He could have fucking ran that shit off. But who cares? I mean, I really don't care. Like, it didn't turn out to be a fundamentally changing aspect to this fight. You know, did
Nope.
Jacobson bully him around with his weight? You know, like that never happened.
Very
So
quick, did you see that one tweet? Someone said, my cousin told me that Jacobs was 220 pounds on the fight
Wait,
night.
you keep getting fucking bought on that same troll. It's the
She's
same.
a troll.
Yo,
I got no clue. I never keep up with it.
no,
I
but
was
no,
like,
but Rob, and Fu will back me up on here. You've sent us at least 5 different tweets from that same person in the last 6 months,
have I?
and
I don't even know.
you freak out every time that
freak
she
out.
tweets, and we keep telling you she's a troll.
She's by far one of the best Twitter trolls, though.
Yeah,
she
she's getting
gets
them, yeah.
everyone. It's so funny. Yeah.
She
When she
said
said he was
something like,
220 pounds. I was dying.
My cousin said he was 220. He works at the MGM ground on security. And she said, like, Canelo can hang at heavyweight or something. I didn't even notice it's the same person. He must change the picture or something regularly.
I think she changes the name.
Oh, is it? Oh,
yeah,
right.
because a lot of people do that now. They just change their name.
It's hilarious.
It's like a
Rob
box.
gets hit every time.
It's like a Box Fight Gray. I mean, he changes his name every week, man. And
yeah,
that shit's hilarious. Briefly, what's next for Canelo? It seems like a Callum Smith fight is a possibility. And also, I mean, I think we need to talk about it in some aspect. The Triple G heel turn, in his mind, which I think he thinks is going to be the way to get the Canelo trilogy fight, I think is actually going to make Canelo go, fuck no, this guy's now being disrespectful. Get out of here. You're fighting Steve Rolls, my guy. You have no right to talk to us.
Money G, as of now. He's Money G. That's what he is.
Please tell me that you made that up and that you did not steal that from someone on Twitter.
I replied to Fu straight away.
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't seen it anywhere else.
Just making sure.
If it is, someone will probably say, and you'll be like, "Oh, I knew Rob wasn't intelligent enough to come up with something so witty," even though that's pretty much all I've got.
That's not. I wouldn't say, Rob. You are very intelligent. Calm down there, Mr. Insecure. It's just that I have already seen a lot of fucking memes comparing them, and I would assume that Money G has probably been used. So I thought maybe you've seen it because you've been up more than me today. Come on.
All I've seen is what
testy.
Triple G said. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all I've seen. I don't know.
Emotional. Why you emotional?
But anyways.
Relax.
Hold your pair of bums.
Relax.
Relax, Rob. It's okay. Relax.
I am relaxed.
Yeah, I don't like this move from Triple G. Like,
plus, just to add, I want you guys to touch on this specifically. I think it will not help him get the Canelo fight. He thinks it will. I think it will do actually the opposite.
I don't like any, leaving Abel Sanchez, cool, whatever. But
Jonathan Banks,
it's just weird to me that he's, I don't know, is he trying to be like the bad guy now? Or what made Triple G cool was that he knocked people out and he was humble and he had a lot of class. He never shit on anyone. And it's like now he just comes out and says, oh, that was a boring fight. Neither guy looked like they just didn't do anything for the fans. They didn't look like they wanted this fight.
Said it was a sparring match.
It's like, I'm sorry. You just got your ass kicked by Canelo, last fight.
Oh,
Did
he?
Second fight for sure. My mind.
Got his ass kicked.
In my mind.
Yeah, your mind's covered in hairy shit. It's like a hairy.
What? Yo, the banter on this show, Rob.
What? It's so good.
That was your cue to play the soundbite. God, slipping.
I know, but I didn't have it out ready.
Anyways, whatever happens for Canelo next, I'm all in favor because he can fight Andrade, he can fight a tune-up, he can fight Callum Smith. I mean, he's the star. He can do whatever he wants.
I'd much rather see Andrade and then see him move up. But, hey, I think he said that's not going to happen because he's going to fight in September. Andrade fights in June. He doesn't think the turnaround's good enough, so it'd probably be Callum Smith next, I would imagine.
Wembley Stadium. Eric Gomez mentioned it. Now we will see whether Canelo is a world star, how big his sort of stardom is. What?
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Why?
There's no need to question Canelo's superstardom. Like
Rob for sure thinks he's not a star. Like he's going to come to the UK and nothing's going
There
to
ain't
happen.
the casuals here don't know Canelo.
Yes, they do.
All right.
I guarantee you they know him. They know him as the Ginger Mexican. They know him as something. I guarantee you. They know the guy that fought Floyd Mayweather, Miguel Cotto, Chavez, and Triple G twice. I guarantee you the casuals know of him. Yes. The problem is he fights at 3 a.m. in the morning over there. If he fought prime time, totally different thing.
But he hasn't been, so people don't know him.
No, they know him. They just don't watch him. It's a very different thing to know.
I love that you're all the way over there.
No. Look, hey,
everything.
Rob.
Yeah.
Great example, even though it's completely out there. You know who Beyonce is, right?
Huh?
You know who Beyonce is, right? Don't do that. Don't play coy.
Do I know Beyonce?
I like that. That was good. They kind of didn't see it on the YouTube feed for a little bit, and then you moved the hand, so that was good. I mean, you don't listen to her music, I'm assuming, right?
She's all over the radio.
But you don't listen to her music?
100% Rob is driving to work singing
right?
Single Ladies.
I don't listen to Beyonce. No. I'm just pointing out something to you, Rob, okay? Yes, she's on the radio. I understand that. Canelo's also on the TV. Beyonce is known. She's a superstar. Regardless if you consume her content, regardless if you like her music, regardless if you like her, you know of her. She's a superstar. Canelo is that. Regardless if you like him, regardless if you watch his fights, regardless if you've ever seen him before, you know of him. Worldwide. If you are tapped into any sort of cultural zeitgeist, whether in the UK, France, US, Canada, Mexico, Thailand, Japan, if you're caught into any cultural zeitgeist, you know of Canelo Alvarez. You may not watch him, you may not care for him, but you definitely know of him.
And you have to believe if you had the opportunity to go see him at Wembley, fight Callum Smith, you're gonna go. Like you're gonna go get tickets for that.
Now, would it do 80,000 like Carl Froch? I don't know.
Maybe they'll put it on the Froch Groves rematch. Froch Groves 3, baby.
He's
right there.
World-renowned fucking boxing star. Of course he's going to sell 90,000 at Wembley. What are you talking about, Matt?
Well, I mean, Carl Froch is, I mean, he can fucking bench press 240 kilos, man. Like the guys.
You just said he's this well-known world star.
I'm trying to make a joke about Froch, man. You're not letting me make
no,
a
I'm
joke.
picking you up on. I don't know if he'll do 80,000 though.
Because it's a joke. God, I hate you. I hate when you do this. But anyways, I think Canelo can do whatever he wants. He's known. He's a superstar. He's the highest paid, guaranteed boxer right now. Right, Rob? I mean, that's a safe assumption.
Yeah, it is.
So,
in America.
No, worldwide.
All right.
Prestige.
Where else has he fought? All I'm saying is he's a massive star over there, and that is where the money is, right? That's why Joshua's getting the most money by fighting over there.
And again, superstars can play in the NBA and the NFL and be known worldwide. Tom Brady is known worldwide. You know who Tom Brady is. You know who LeBron James is. You know who Michael Jordan is.
LeBron James, didn't he? He's the guy that made the Canelo.
I knew you were going to say that.
Right?
I mean, did Michael Jordan ever play in London? Did he ever play in France?
I don't know.
No. But he was known worldwide. He was a superstar.
Yeah, but would all these people come in here, buy a ticket to see him?
Yes. If Michael Jordan in his prime, or if the NBA in 1996 or 95 put the Bulls versus the Celtics in 2002 as like a one-off, like the NFL sort of does with their games, right? Yeah, it would sell out. Yes.
Basketball's probably.
What the fuck kind of question is that?
I don't know. I'm not a massive basketball fan, so I don't know how many basketball fans are in the UK. Or
you think if Tom Brady and the Patriots came and played at Wembley and they played another great team, it doesn't sell out, it doesn't do well? People don't watch, people don't care?
They already come over here and play.
I know that, and it does well.
But I'm talking about like boxing, Canelo, a Mexican American fighter, whatever. I don't know. I just think you're overplaying how big a star he is.
Oh no, not at all. I'm not overplaying that at all.
Just an opinion.
Well, it's not an opinion based on anything. Like, you can't point to anything really other than, well, he's just Mexican. That's why he's not going to be worldwide. He doesn't speak English. Like, that is fundamentally your argument, right? Like, what's your argument then? Like, what do you base that off of?
I base it off my feeling of being someone who lives here, that the general public don't know who Canelo is. That is my...
That's all you're basing off of, is that?
Yeah.
Cool.
So
nothing.
Well, if that's what you think, but...
Yeah, I think that's nothing.
Okay. You're weird.
It's not weird. I mean, you're literally you're telling the fighter that does multi-million pay-per-view buys. You're telling the fighter that's done multi-million viewership on TV. You're telling the fighter that is literally the face of DAZN, the app you love so much, the highest paid athlete in the sport.
In America.
No. It doesn't matter. Highest paid athlete in the sport worldwide. Throw in AJ.
Right.
He's higher paid than him.
That's now exclusive on an app that we can't get. Yes, he was just on Sky.
Again, Rob, you fundamentally aren't understanding my argument. Do you watch Beyonce content? Do you have Tidal? Do you listen to Jay-Z albums?
No.
Okay, do you know who Jay-Z is?
Yeah.
Awesome. It's the same fucking thing with Canelo.
If he comes to Wembley, I'm not buying a ticket.
You don't buy tickets to anything, Rob.
I don't.
When's the last ticket that you bought for a boxing fight? Other than KSI Logan Paul. That you had to buy because your kid asked you to.
Well, maybe people got money.
Okay, man.
No, but all I'm saying,
well,
I don't
then don't fucking use that as an excuse, man. You know that. Come on, man. You know this is bullshit.
No, I said it in the chat when I sent it to you about the thing. I said, we'll see how big a star he is. That wasn't me setting up the troll for tonight's show, man.
It is a troll. I think
it sell 90,000 tickets in Wembley. Because
oh my God,
don't think many people know.
And look, did people know Triple G? No, we fought Kell Brook and people bought tickets for it. Callum Smith would do extremely well.
What if each ticket comes with some beef?
Like, imagine, like...
It's all right, Matt.
No. Canelo Callum Smith is fucking your guys' is this generation's Mayweather Ricky Hatton, dog. Like, and you think that doesn't do well? Like, what? That's the comparison.
Say again from the start.
Canelo Callum Smith.
Maybe what?
Or maybe even Canelo Billy Joe Saunders. Anything with Canelo and a UK fighter is this generation's Mayweather Ricky Hatton. No. It's that crossover UK-US fight. No. Yes, absolutely. No. Canelo Alvarez and Callum Smith at prime time in the UK does 1 million buys. Does 1 million pay-per-view buys easily.
Whoa. Nah.
What do you mean, nah?
Nah, you're underplaying what a villain.
Mayweather Ricky Hatton at 3 a.m. in the morning did over 1 million buys.
That's Floyd Mayweather.
I know, but it was 3 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, but it's
no. But you don't. No. You are underselling the 3 a.m. Rob, you can get upset. That's fine.
No, but you're not letting me finish. You're underplaying who Floyd Mayweather is now. You're totally leapfrogging like just what it meant for like everyone wanted Floyd to lose. Canelo hasn't got that.
Canelo literally has an entire contingent of boxing Twitter hating on him every second. I put in my pound for pound list. I received nothing but hate for that.
Yeah, but it's you.
That's possible. But Rob,
you've got this wrong. That's all. It's just my opinion, Matt. You don't have to get all fucking blood veiny angry.
Rob, stop backing out of a debate. This is what the show is built for. We debate. If you don't want to debate, then you can leave, Rob.
I've said my piece, and you're just still trying to convince me I'm wrong.
It's not about convincing, Rob. I don't care about convincing you about anything. This is a debate. You have an opinion. I have an opinion. Let's talk about those opinions. Let's debate them. That's what this show's about, Rob. If you don't like that, if you don't want to debate opinions, if you want to come in here, say your piece, say my piece, we never talk to each other, then we can do that. If that's what you want, we can do that.
But we're debating it and we're not getting anywhere.
It doesn't matter about getting anywhere, Rob. It's boxing. All of these arguments we can never get anywhere. Wilder, AJ, we never get anywhere. Pound for pound, we never get anywhere. Does that mean we shouldn't debate them? Does that mean we shouldn't have fun talking about them? Or do you want to get mad anytime we debate? Because anytime we debate, you get upset. You do this. You do this. This is what you do.
I'm trying to talk, and
you do that, and Matt leans back with his coffee cup deep in his couch.
There's only one person that looks visually upset right now, or angry. I don't know.
I'm annoyed by you, Rob. I will admit that. Okay. And you can try to laugh it off and play it off now, even though you were upset literally 30 seconds ago.
I wasn't upset. I seriously wasn't upset.
Okay, we can move on.
Well, that's what I said.
Jojo Diaz looked fantastic. Wants the Tevin Farmer fight. I could care less about this performance because it's Freddie Fonseca and no one cares about Freddie Fonseca. But Tevin Farmer fight, I'm all for because it's an in-house fight. It makes sense.
They've set it up already, right?
Yeah. The one thing I'm not in favor for is whatever he did to his hair. God.
Get a new stylist, bro.
Whatever's
going on there.
That is annoying as hell. Like, it is distracting.
Someone done a meme and it's what's his name? What's the famous basketball player that was
Rodman? Dennis Rodman?
Oh, yeah. I thank you for getting the name before I went into how I was going to explain him. Because I remember him on camera a little upset about something. But yeah, Dennis Rodman. There was he had like crazy hair, and they said Jojo Diaz, like right now or whatever. But
I think that was when he did the whole like North Korea thing. I think right when Rodman went on like news channels and was talking about like, oh, North Korea is great. Right? Wasn't that when he had that big freak out, or was it like before that?
I think it was to do with North Korea somewhere down the line. But
probably.
Yeah, Jojo Diaz. I mean, look. Good, bad press, good press, bad press, whatever. People were talking about him, I guess. I know it's because he got fucking weird hair, but he's still.
And well, let's be honest. People talk about it more for the Tevin Farmer interaction.
Yeah,
like he's gone. See
Tevin Farmer arguing with that dude with the fucking funny hair.
He's gotten far more. I would say, like views on like YouTube, anything like that. Via anything attached to Tevin Farmer than this fight. It was a setup fight, and I understand that. But I mean, again, he looks good. I think he sort of adopted this new style of being an aggressive boxer, sort of working off the center line, working combinations. He just doesn't excite me in any way. I know, Fu, you sort of talked about this, I want to say either last night or like before we started the show last night. How like he just doesn't have that it factor in any way, whether it be like in-ring ability, he doesn't have that it factor, or outside the ring. And I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yeah, we talked about he gave Russell Jr. a tough fight, but no one talked about him afterwards. It's not like anyone was like, "Oh, I'd love to see Jojo Diaz with Santa Cruz or Frampton or Warrington," or it's like. No one cares about this guy. He's like, he moved up to 130. He looked good. I think a Tevin Farmer fight with Jojo Diaz is a good fight. He just doesn't have, like you said, that it factor. It's just nothing special. Like he's very good, but I don't see him having some breakout monster performance like Virgil Ortiz, for instance, last night, which really impressed me, even though it was, an aging, but a great win against a guy who'd never been stopped in, his 13th fight or something, Jojo Diaz isn't going to do that for me. I don't think anytime soon.
No, it's just not that. And the sad part is he might beat Tevin Farmer, but it's just that I think the levels between that top of the division at 130 isn't that far apart. Like the Burchells, Gervontas, Tevin Farmers, Jojo Diaz. I don't think they're that far apart from each other, to be quite honest. I know that might not be the best, take to have, either if you're a Davis fan or a Burchell fan, because those are, I would say, the two front runners of the division. But in realistic sense, I think they're all relatively close to each other in terms of actual ability. Moving on, unless Rob, I don't know if you said anything about Jojo Diaz. I think.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not overly impressed with him. I think the highlight was his hair, to be honest.
That's so sad.
God bless him for having some.
Let's talk about Gary's favorite fighter. I should talk about him after the
Ali.
Yeah, this is messed up, man. Vergil Ortiz Jr. knocked out Mauricio Herrera in vicious fashion in the third round. Herrera, please retire. You have nothing to give anymore. Ortiz, you look pretty good. I would like you to face a live body next instead of a faded shot veteran. That would be nice. But Ortiz looked fantastic. I mean, it was quick. It was devastating. It was fast. Great knockout.
He done that, left Herrera hanging asleep kind of knockout, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And then, no, he looks legit. But again, I said that as well. I'd want to see him now because Midi came in the chat like this. Vergil Ortiz, I like him. You know. I said, yeah, let's just see him against, someone a bit of a live body. And see how he hangs. But he seems to have some good power. Like Midi said, in behind that ridiculous European high guard, trolling obviously because that's all we get leveled with. That's stupid.
Well, that's why I probably don't like Ortiz as much as Gary does because I find him kind of basic in what he does. Like, there's no wow factor.
But monster power,
but like
monster power.
There's no. I don't see a lot of diversity in his game.
No, so you feel the same way about Wilder?
No, because Wilder's a heavyweight. They all have that. Like at 140, like here's the thing. At 140, who's going to floor people like that? Like he landed one clean punch and like Herrera was just
147.
done.
This is 147, not 140.
Well, he's technically listed still at 140.
Yeah, he's going back to 140.
Yeah. I mean, no one at 140 is going to deal with that power like that. I mean,
what? Yes. I mean, no one.
I'm not saying he could put gloves on like a Prograis because he's going to be a better boxer, or like Taylor, he's going to be a better boxer. But who at 140 is laying people out like that?
First off, who at 140 is fighting this level of competition?
I understand that, but he's 13 fights in.
That's awesome. And you go back when everyone else was early in their career fighting other prospects and regional guys and the faded shot veterans. They did this too. Prograis, Ramirez, Taylor, Baranchik, like they've all done this. Like they've all, maybe not against Herrera, who has some name value,
and has never been stopped and has fought all of those top guys and questionably should have beaten Garcia in 2014. Look.
Yes, but come on, man.
It's a good win. Is all I'm saying. And he's at 140 and he has good power for 140. The question was, would I say the same about Wilder? No, because it's a heavyweight.
I'm not touching that. That was a troll comment from Rob. I understand that was a troll comment. Look at him snicker over there.
What did I say?
Something about Wilder.
No.
I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about Fu's comment about no one can take the power of Ortiz at 140. So you're telling me that if Ramirez, Prograis, Taylor, Baranchik get into a slug fight with Ortiz's power is going to win?
Flanagan.
Oh, I don't think any of those, look, I think Taylor wins usually by accumulation. He's not like a one-punch knockout guy.
I'm not talking about them having more power than him. I'm not talking about that.
Yeah. I think if they try to stand a trade with Ortiz when he is a few fights, like say 2 years from now, if any of those guys are at 140, he has a great chance of knocking those guys out. Those guys do not have the power he has. That's all I'm saying. But I think they're better boxers because you could see when he got Herrera hurt, he wasn't clean with his punches. That's the difference. It's a difference in the skill level.
Gary in the chat. Yeah, I can't wait to go to Gary's call. Oh man, it's gonna be so much. Don't worry, Gary. We're gonna go to you. We still have a lot to talk about. Holy shit, we've been talking too much. Let's try to run through what's left. John Ryder picked up a air quotes big win.
Very quick. Let me just go back. Ellie113 in the chat. Ritson looked like a beast before he stepped up. Levels.
No, and that's completely true. That's why we say we want to see him with somebody on a different level. And it looks like that's what Golden Boy's working towards, because you put him as the fight before the main event. They're trying to build him into something at this point, right? Like Mitty said, like there's not been a lot of talk about this guy. Like Gary's been talking about him for a while. We had him in our prospect list, but no one's really hyped on him yet. But let's see what he does. I'm just saying, for 140, the dude's got some fucking power. It's not necessarily common.
That's great that he has power, but knocking out this level of opponents and then knocking out Prograis, Taylor, Branchick, Ramirez, Hooker, it's just a different thing.
And I agree with you. Those guys are amazing boxers.
Because look at Daniel Jacobs or Triple G for another example. Look at their power, what they can do. And then they face elite competition like Canelo, and their power doesn't translate. Ortiz is going to have that issue.
Yeah, because they're better boxers.
Spence is another guy. I mean, look, his power wasn't able to affect Mikey, so he had to do more. Had to be a good boxer to beat Mikey. You know, I think power it is a obviously important factor in fighting. However, it's nowhere near the top, in my opinion, for the elite level.
No, but you have to agree to some degree that it does change the margin of error for a boxer.
Absolutely.
That's
but again, I think it was really quick and hyperbolic of you to say, I don't think anyone at 140 can take this guy's power. I think a lot of guys.
I said my statement was no one at 140 has power like that.
That's not what you said.
And that's true. That is exactly what I said.
No, you said they can't take his power.
You exactly said they cannot.
Did I say that?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a stupid statement. I was just talking out of my ass. What I mean is, what I meant to say, and maybe I said it the wrong way. I don't know why I said that.
That's why, Fu, when I first questioned you on that, and you started talking about their other, like Regis's power, like I'm not talking about their power. You said they can't take his power.
My statement is that at 140, people don't have power like that. That's what I meant. My bad.
Oh my!
Maybe I just wanted to argue with you, like Rob.
At least Rob like made a point and like actually was correct about that point. Like he didn't come back and say, "Oh wait, I was wrong about that. I meant to say this."
Most of the chat agrees.
You know what I meant by that, Rob. Don't take that far.
I win.
Anyways,
most of the chat agreed with my point. Anyways, my point is that that guy has
Gary
power at 140.
Gary agrees with your point. And Gary right now is 90%.
3 or 4 people here.
No, Gary's 90% of the chat right now because you were talking about Virgil Ortiz, man. Come on.
That's like a shallow win if you find out Gary agrees with your point. That's
It's actually more concerning than anything.
Maybe
Saddam Ali lost. I think let's move on, please. We don't need to
no. Give Young his credit. He was a 14-1 underdog.
I think we all thought Anthony Young was going to win. I think we all came on this show at some point this week and said Anthony Young is winning this fight.
And yet none of us backed it.
Well, because to be fair, me and you, Rob, we don't have money. Fu has money. He just is too busy rollerblading around, selling phones. Living the best life. Living in paradise, man.
And I don't give 2 shits about Saddam Ali, and I never have. Like, I never have. Like, I always thought he was just overstated. Ugh.
Yeah.
It was a terrible fight.
He beat Cotto, man.
Oh my god.
Anyways, let's talk about this Better Be of ESPN card. This might be Better Be's career best performance. And I don't know if I'm gonna go on the ledge. It is his career best performance. There are some asterisks to it. Obviously, Hot Rod not being the most active guy recently. That's an issue. I think we could tell that as well in this fight, that Hot Rod was not ready for how aggressive Beterbiev was was in the first 30 seconds of that fight, and then proceeded and just did not stop with that aggression. But one thing we did see from Beterbiev that I really liked is that he wasn't screwing up as much on the inside. I like that. That was a real issue in the Callum Johnson fight. He kept screwing up. That's how Johnson was able to land some of his best shots. On top of that, Beterbiev was using his jab more to come into the inside. And on top of that, his combinations on the inside were far more accurate than usual. So I do see some improvements from Beterbiev. I do like that. He's, again, a very young fighter, only 14-0 right now. But still not completely sold on him being the king of the division yet. I still think there are several guys I would rate above him, but this was a notable performance against a notable hardcore name that I think makes me more sure about Beterbiev's status as a champion. I've been questioning him for quite some time as whether he deserves to be a champion or not, and deserves to be mentioned with some of these guys at the top. This win solidifies him more in that conversation than usual, so I like that. I needed to see it. Rob, have you seen this fight by chance?
I have.
Ooh.
I sent you the link, remember?
Well, I didn't know if you sent me that link or another link, because I then sent like the rest of the cards. I didn't know which one you sent.
No, I watched it. I like Beterbiev. I think he's exciting to watch because I think he's vulnerable. But he keeps being vulnerable and then knocking some fucker out, you know? I enjoyed it. It was good 5 rounds. He's legit. You know, he called out everyone on the ESPN side. You know, Bivol kind of wasn't really mentioned, but, you know, you can only take one at a time, I guess. So, you know, whatever. I'm sure it'll build up. But, yeah, I like Beterbiev, really, watching him. And like I say, you think, oh, he can get wobbled. He can do it. But he seems to battle through it, and he can land some serious leather back. So I think there was a period, was it the 4th round? They kind of went at it, like quite throwing some heavy leather at each other and stuff. But no, it was good. I enjoyed it. I was kind of thinking it'd be good had he stayed on DAZN, and obviously we get the American fights here, so I'd have seen more of him on Sky. But you know, I guess Daily Motion it is.
You know what's funny is that I think we all know that it's going to do atrocious numbers, but it could still somehow do better numbers than, in theory, what Canelo Jacobs will do, just because of it being on ESPN, which is fucking crazy. Because I felt like this fight, like, no one cared about, like, no one was talking about. But Fu, your thoughts? Beterbiev knocking out Hot Rod in the 5th round.
I was impressed with how aggressive Beterbiev was the entire fight. Like, there was one probably like that was the 2nd round or maybe like the 3rd round. He literally like ran him from one side of the ring to the other. Did you guys see that? And like through the ropes and everything. Like, that's just, he was not just coming forward, but like running forward, throwing, 3, 4, 5 punch combinations the entire fight almost, and just really overwhelmed. Did you guys agree with the stoppage? Did you think it was too quick?
I'll put it this way, man. I thought Hot Rod looked suspect from a very early juncture in that fight. Like, it was like 30 seconds in that fight. I was like, oh no, this is not going to end well. And I knew what was going to happen, obviously, but I'm like, this is not good. It almost looked like he was injured. You know, like I don't know if that's the case, but like the way he was moving, like he looked like he was struggling to move. Like his legs weren't working properly. Like I don't know. Like maybe it was just that Beterbiev caught him early, and that like he got the stinky leg early, and he never sort of got rid of that. Like his equilibrium was always off. Maybe that was the issue. But you look at the Hot Rod performance against Marcus Brown and this performance, it's night and day.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that again is due to Beterbiev being on point or the asterisks of Hot Rod's career, which are at this point, unfortunately, quite sad. Anything else on this fight, guys?
Not really. Not for me.
No, it was unfortunately scheduled. I mean, it was a fun fight and everything, but it was just up against. So I don't know quite what sort of. I'm sure it still do okay. On ESPN.
Yep.
But I'd imagine all the people that subscribe to DAZN, they were watching
And
Yeah,
even then, the people that are on ESPN who might have ESPN Plus, the hardcores, right? There was a UFC card at the same time on ESPN Plus, and that UFC card was arguably a lot better in terms of depth than anything in boxing this weekend. So,
And had a decently big name, Cerrone. Like a lot of people know him. So
yeah, in the U.S. at least, yes.
Yeah.
Not worldwide, like
Yeah.
Rob states. That's a big difference.
no way.
Like he couldn't sell at Wembley.
No Cowboys over here.
Anyways, Yurin Ancajas knocking out Ryuichi Funea in the 7th round. Ancajas is a guy that just kind of like a better beef. I think like them being packaged together is poetic in a way, because I think both of them are so defensively liable. You know what I mean? Like neither guy screams, "Oh, he can take punches," and on top of that, great defense. Nope, he fails both things. However, Ancajas, heavy hitter, really exciting guy, always willing to just throw himself into the action, even when he shouldn't be. So he's always going to be in exciting fights, but man, 115 just seems like a murderer's division right now. Like you have Estrada, Rungsvi, and then we have who's Yafe fighting? Rob.
Say again.
Khalid Yafe, who's he fighting? Is he fighting anyone important? Is he fighting Roman Gonzalez? Did that ever get made? Or
they're still trying to make that. I think he's got a mandatory, so I'm not sure who it is.
okay. I mean, but there's tons of there's names in the division that I just don't see Ancajas beating.
he's fighting Norberto Jimenez.
Oh yeah, that's right. That is right. Yeah.
Oh, the great, yes. That guy. I'm not gonna try his name again.
Mando hater.
Gary also bring up Ashton Pilate. Yes, of course. I mean,
ignore Gary. He's bringing up that you don't put fire out with water. So you put fire out with fire, apparently. So that's where the Notre Dame people were getting it wrong all that time.
Too soon.
It's a building. It's a building.
That's true. No one got hurt. But anyways, it caused fun fight, looked good, but clearly no improvement still. Clearly, I think he's a level below some of these top guys in the division, and he is food for them. But he has a belt, so he's going to be important until he loses that belt. Rob, I feel like you want to jump in on this one. So, Rob.
That was his 7th defense, I believe.
What?
Yeah.
7th? I
believe.
Oh, I'm a boxer right now. Let me see. Hold on. You talk for a second. Let me look this up.
Yeah. He's all right. I think he's had some lackluster performances since winning it. I don't know if weight's an issue. But no, I thought he was all right last night. I have seen the fight. Yeah, not much else to say. Fu?
I didn't catch this fight yet, guys. Sorry.
By the way, Rob is right. This is his 7th title defense after he beat McJoe Arroyo for it. Wow. Oh, my God. The title reign of Ancajas has been completely unheralded in every way. But anyways, guys. Last fight, Gabriel Flores Jr. that we're going to talk about. Another young prospect. I'm not going to talk about a lot, but that knockout was great. If you haven't seen that knockout, that left hook was picture perfect. The way the guy went out, truly video game-esque. So fantastic knockout, one that's going to get talked about and get a lot of viral sort of push from the boxing community for a bit. Definitely one that if you, again, have not seen, go watch the knockout at least. If you haven't seen it, go watch that knockout. And if you guys want to talk about Gabriel Flores Jr. picking up a big KO.
You don't have to watch long, guys. It's like, I think that fight was like 8 minutes or something, 9 minutes. And it's like 3rd round knockout, I think.
Yes.
But it's a great knockout. I mean, that kid's talented. We've through, the other channel and through kind of, Alex Lemon over there, known about this kid for a while. I think he looks good. I don't, again, it's just, how good's he going to look as the level of competition steps up? That's always the question with stuff like this. But for now, he looks great. It was a good fight.
Agreed. Let's talk now. Let's switch it to our only like news topic of the day, and it's, I mean, using the term news very loosely here. But guys, breaking news: Wilder Joshua still not happening. I know, guys. It's shocking, right? Rob,
this is great banter. It really is.
Rob, you like that, huh? That was good.
Yeah,
That was
I enjoyed your breaking news.
That was good. I on the spot, man. Pat myself on the back right there. That was good. But Deontay Wilder was interviewed by Blue Blood Sports TV, whoever gives a fuck.
Which makes the comments even better.
And he was asked directly. Look, I have the sound clip. I'm not going to play it because the sound quality is trash. So I'm just going to kind of say it verbatim for you. You're welcome. I'm going to save you guys the trouble of having to watch or listen to that content. He was asked point blank, hey, if after the Brazil fight, if they offer you 50-50 one-off deal for AJ, will you take it? Deontay says verbatim, I don't know. Got a lot of things in line. So, I mean, did he say no to the 50-50 offer? Or, I mean, would he say no to the 50-50 offer if there is one? I don't care. Like, my patience for the heavyweight division is now less than what it was for Free Fights TV. You like that, right, Rob? That was good. I was waiting for the snicker there. That was good. Thank you. I just look. This is bad, Wilder. Why would you say this? Like, why? Why would you say something this blatantly stupid?
Because that's Wilder. That's what he does, man.
Says stupid shit. He just does.
Like, that video is so long, and there is zero substance in nearly the entire video. Like, it's literally like a fanboy interviewing his favorite fighter. That's all it is. It's so boring. Like, I love that you saved everyone else listening to that, but we had to sift through it to find the quote.
Yo, I'll be honest,
fucking
guys.
asshole.
I'll be honest.
Matt was a fucking.
I'll be honest. Look, I wasn't.
Get me the audio.
No. Stop, Rob. I wasn't like that. I wasn't. I was not. You always think that. I was not.
Just send it.
But because you kept saying like, oh, well, I don't want to send it to you. I'm like, look, I have not heard the interview. I want to hear what Wilder says specifically. That's what I wanted to hear it. Not necessarily for the show. I wanted to hear it. And guess what? I did not want to sift through that fucking 40-minute long interview of that audio quality.
Do you want to know? But hold on, I sent the link to it and said, see who can find it first. And then I stopped looking.
Oh, you bastard.
And I'll be honest, when I started listening to the soundbite you guys clipped for me, I instantly became very sorry. So I want to apologize to you guys for making you, air quotes, making you do some fucking pre-production for once in you guys' life.
Yo, so low key, don't you guys just feel like it's some 14-year-old with a soundboard and every journalist is just getting trolled?
No.
Like, it is.
No.
It's
I can tell you exactly what that is. That's a phone call conversation recorded on the Tapacall app. Because I have that app and I've done that before. So it's not fake, unfortunately. I think that would make it better. But no,
funny.
That is a phone call conversation that's recorded.
I think,
yeah.
Also, as well, he's brought up. Remember when Joshua said, "No one's going to rush my career. If it's 2020, then blah 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 blah," which was, I believe, something like October 2017. That interview. And Wilder has clutched onto that and said they've spoke it into existence. He wanted 2020, and it's all look, it's going to be 2020. And I don't know that, like you say, he necessarily said no. I think if the zone came in with 60 million one-off fight, would the Ortiz and Kalnaki plan still be in effect?
No, I mean 60 million, 50-50. You wanted that. Because it's not a flat fee. You don't want a flat fee? 50-50. Here you go.
Well, as long as Josh was getting 60 as well, but
who cares?
I just wanted to call his bluff. Say, right, 50-50. $1 million, 500 each.
Look, and like I've always said this, right? Like a lot of this shit has nothing to do with actual like on paper contracts and like maneuvering. It's all about like public strong arming, maneuvering the public will via just talking points, right?
He's doing a good job of it.
Yeah, I know. Eddie Hearn can go on IFL right now and say, yeah, we're gonna send Wilder that offer. He says he won't take it 50-50. We're gonna see about it. He can never do that. Never has to send him an email. Never has to send him a contract. Never has to send him a term sheet. Guess what? They win already, and that's largely because Eddie's very good at knowing how to do that, but also because Wilder and his team have done everything in their ability to give that opportunity to Eddie Hearn, to give those talking points to the other side. And again, all Wilder has said, let's say if he doesn't want to do it, let's say that he wants 2020, and I can get that. Like I just like for AJ, if he doesn't want to fight till 2020, I can understand that from like a business standpoint, right? But there's ways you say it that don't sound as bad as that, right? Like it's like the fucking Barry Hearn thing to a lesser extreme. You can say that. What Wilder is saying is fine. It's the way he is saying it that is completely not okay, in my opinion. If he came out here and said, look, we're not really looking at it right now. I have Dominic Breazeale to look forward to. He has said some things about me. I've said some things about him. That's a fight I'm really, really focused on. I got training. I got a lot of things to worry about right now. I got family. I'm not really concerned with AJ right now. They're doing their thing. I'm doing my thing. And leave it like that. There is a way that you can still sell your fight, Wilder, that's next. Still talk about AJ and be non-committal.
He could even go with Finkel's talking points that, hey, Shelly Finkel and based on the DAZN guy's name.
Skipper.
John Skipper is still talking. They have like Finkel already came out and said that. So you could just say, hey, my management team's still talking to DAZN. We don't know what's really going on there, but I've got this fight going on right now. Like that's for my team to put together. Let's not. No, I got a lot of stuff coming up. I can't talk to you about it, but it's like, why do that?
Well, no. Again, it's the first thing he says is, I don't know.
Yeah,
that's the issue. Is that he jumps into that question with, I don't know. Yeah. Don't say that. Say, look, that's not my concern right now. There's a way to deflect it that is not innately saying, is not innately rejecting it, if that makes sense. You can deflect it without a rejection of that idea.
It's not giving the narrative to the other side, if you know what I mean.
Yes, absolutely.
Because look, if you remember, Eddie done an interview when apparently they offered 60-40 or whatever. And he said, and that was turned down. And he said, look, I think even if I offered 50-50, they wouldn't take it. And now this has come out. Coogan asked Eddie yesterday about the comments that Wilder said to Bluebird. And he said, Coogan even, but you told me on this channel when you offered him 60-40, if you offered him 50-50, he wouldn't take it. And it gave Eddie the opportunity to say, yeah, I did, didn't I? I said if I offered him 50-50, he still wouldn't take it. Now, can everybody get off my fucking back and see the truth? And, it gave Eddie that chance to spin, that side of it and say exactly as he sees it and wants, the public to believe it. It's down to the public. That Wilder's got his side, and they're gonna stand by him through the whole of it, even though he makes it hard for that at times, I guess. And it's let's just see what else gets said down the line, but it's not obviously happening anytime soon. So
I just feel like the fan base is fatigued. They're fatigued with the heavyweight division. Like they don't want to be through these things anymore. Like when the fight happens, everyone's obviously going to watch it. But for now, I just feel like people are like, fuck the heavyweight division. Like the top three guys are just not I mean, like, you can't really be mad at Joshua in this moment. Not to defend Joshua, but there's nothing going on in that weight division, honestly, right now. So it's frustrating.
Well, again, I don't think that's the correct way to frame it. The fight we want in the division is not happening right now, but the division is still doing stuff and still going to get a lot of views and a lot of money because it's the heavyweight division. And Wilder and AJ are stars. AJ obviously is a superstar in the UK and Europe, but they are, in a sense, worldwide stars. Maybe not superstars, but they are stars, right? And Wilder can fight Breazeale and Ortiz and do $1 million on Showtime every time. So business as usual. But anyways, let's get to some callers because we've been debating for far too long. I know Rob hates that. But really, no. Damn it, man. Rob is so good about not getting sucked into an argument. I fucking hate it. I can suck Fu into an argument. Pause. All the time. Rob, I just get a snicker, and I get a laugh all the way in the back when you guys can't see him. But anyways,
you just had a massive back and forth debate with Rob,
and that's not
and
enough.
You're yeah.
I haven't seen Rob in a day, guys. You guys don't understand. If I don't see Rob in a day, I'm gonna lay on extra thick because I miss him.
He was watching billiards during the fight last night.
No, it was snooker.
Snooker.
Yo, whoever made that name. Oh my god.
Snooker. What's that?
Anyways, let's go out to Santiago in LA.
Oh, you're not going to Gary.
He's not first. Sorry.
No, that's all right. It's fine. It's funny.
Santiago.
Hey guys, what's up? Rob, glad to have you on the show. Boo, I hope that you're making the time to go watch Avengers if you haven't watched it already, so that Matt can get off your ass about that.
He won't.
Yeah. Like I said, one of the biggest takeaways that I have from the fight last night is the fact that I saw improvements in areas of Canelo's game that personally I've always felt he was deficient in. Like his ability to come forward, his ability to cut off the ring, the fact that I've always felt he had issues with guys that could move. I don't see those issues anymore. I like the fact that I've actually seen growth in Canelo as a fighter, his offense and defense being very fluid with what he tries to do, either coming forward with the offense and switching straight into defense or turning his defense straight into offense. I like the growth. I definitely think that we're seeing him at his peak right now. He's very young, too, 28, 29 years old. We've still got a ways to go before we see the end of Canelo at this point. I definitely think that he's right up there in the top of the pile with some of the great fighters at middleweight and possibly arguably at 168, too, because I just saw on Boxing Scene Eddie Reynoso saying that if they aren't able to get the WBO belt at 160, that they might consider unifying at 168. So it'll be interesting to see where his career goes because at this point, I think we're just at the halfway point, and that next half is going to be should be an interesting and enjoyable one for however long it goes. Your thoughts on that?
Boo.
No, I honestly, I don't see anyone at 160 beating Canelo. We said this during the live fight chat. I said when he fought Rocky Fielding that I thought he would be great at 168 against almost anyone up there. I just think Canelo's special. He's got substantial power. Obviously, when Triple G didn't put Jacobs down, there's no way that you can say Canelo doesn't have power because he couldn't drop Jacobs or stop him. I think that he's going to look good against anyone that he fights. He's just a special talent, man. I was talking to Matt about this last night. He's going to be one of those guys that when he's done, people are going to be like, wow, we lived in the Canelo era of boxing. He's special. He's a good fighter.
Do you think he's going to be big enough for the Callum Smiths, who's obviously a massive super middleweight? How do you see that fight?
I think he's
I
asking you
definitely
something.
think that the Callum Smith I definitely think the Callum Smith fight's probably the one fight where I could see it being 50-50 because Callum Smith is a tall guy, 6'3". He's big. He knows how to use his reach. Canelo's 5'8". It would probably be a true meeting of skill sets where you see whether or not one guy can take advantage of being shorter or the other guy taking advantage of being a taller fighter. It's going to be interesting to see. And I know that Matt wet at my mouth in a group chat where he told me that maybe 3 years down the line we could see a Canelo-Caleb Plant fight. And, oh, man, as a big, big fan and supporter of Caleb Plant, you best believe that I'll be there live to watch that fight. Matt gets credential for that fight. I'll fucking be a chauffeur for that so he doesn't have to worry about driving. I definitely see the future being bright right now with some very, very fun matches that could be made for Canelo right now and in the future. Co-main event, Virgil Ortiz, Mauricio Herrera. Been a big fan of Mauricio Herrera. First time I saw him fight was against Danny Garcia. I definitely thought that, Mauricio could have taken the win on that one. He's had a lot of controversial losses, especially the egregious one with Jose Benavidez, which was like the first fight after the Cold War had finally ended with the matching of Golden Boy and top-ranked fighters. And, it's a shame to see that, for me at least, starting from the Frankie Gomez fight, that he really started to show his age, that he wasn't that slick, elusive fighter that he once was. Not to say that he was like some supreme skill set, but like he always made a fight hard for the fighters that are supposed to be good. Frankie Gomez was the first time in my collective consciousness that I could think, wow, he made his fight with Mauricio Herrera look so easy. And with Virgil Ortiz, the way that he just put him out with that straight right, it was wow. I definitely look forward to seeing Ortiz just continue to improve as a fighter, show up some other issues that he has with his offense, and, do Gary right, because I definitely think he's the goods. I definitely think he's a fun fighter, and at 13-0, the best is still yet to come. Don't really have much else to say regarding any other cards, because to me, honestly, minus the Saddam Ali fight, they went the way they were. Jojo Diaz getting the win over, Freddie Fonseca, looking big and strong at 130, and the confrontation between him and Tevin Farmer. I think that could be an interesting matchup to win. I would probably still favor Farmer at this point, but I like the way that it's going. I like the way that he's rebounding from his loss to Gary Russell, and I hope that he continues to improve and show up some of the issues that he's had at 126. I haven't really had a chance to watch the ESPN card. I was actually busy driving right now when you guys called in, so I hope to catch that later tonight. But all in all, great Saturday of fights, and great performances by some of the fighters, and really, I don't have much else to say. If you guys have any questions regarding any of the topics of the show, feel free to shoot. Otherwise, that's my call. Keep up the good work. Everyone that's listening to the show, share, subscribe, hit that like button. These guys are giving us some really, really great content, and the more that we support them, the better that they get at it.
Thank you, Santiago. Always a pleasure.
Very quick. I've just seen a super slow motion of the massive left hook from Jacobs.
I've been waiting for that.
No, and I just want to say, Shakur Stevenson knows his shit. Canelo rolls that. He does see it coming. But I've only seen it in like full motion.
He does. He does turn his head slightly with it. He does. But he is so fast, and he does it so fast with that fast punch that it looks like it just hits him. It looks like it just whips his chin more so than him slipping it. But yeah, man, Shakur actually, I thought he was right about that. I just didn't want to fight you on that, Rob, in the group chat.
That's right. You picked a worse one to lose on.
I mean, if you don't want to debate, man.
You got that giggle.
If you just want to get
anyways, let's go to the caller that's been waiting this whole time.
Zulu.
No, Zulu. I don't think Zulu's gonna call in.
You should have gone with it, Matt. You should have gone with it.
I'm sorry. I know I should have, huh? But quickly, Craig in the chat saying that Canelo doesn't move well. What are you watching? Like,
all I know is,
that made my computer short out when he said that in the chat. I'm like, wait, what?
I don't know. I don't really address the chat. Like,
yo, fool, I swear to God. You smart ass motherfucker. Okay, go see Avengers Endgame already. You fucking loser. Anyways,
Take the professor in the back and plug him into the hyperdrive.
Even that's the first time I think you played it like organically on the show, man.
I think I might have, yeah.
I've been waiting for that one.
You know how
yes,
Eddie Hearn was telling everyone he felt Jacobs was going to be the man to beat Canelo. He's now on video saying Andrade is going to be the man to beat Canelo. He's like, all right, one of my middleweights didn't do it. I got the next guy.
Of course, that's the beauty of it, right? And the beauty of being a promoter.
The conveyor belt.
Well, this one didn't work. How about this one?
Yeah, I'm gonna go on record right now saying that's not gonna happen.
I mean, let's be honest
not
here.
Beating Canelo.
Do any of us think that Andrade has a better chance than Jacobs did?
No.
Rob?
Yes. Why not?
Okay, I fucking hate you. Gary in Dallas.
If Rob doesn't like debate, he should just hang up the phone he should just get off the show right now because we're going to have a debate. First off, I do think Andrade would have a better chance against Canelo than Jacobs did, but I don't want to get into that.
No, we will.
We
will.
If you don't want to debate, Gary, just hang up the phone.
Rob, you were late again today. This is becoming a pattern with you. This is something we need to address.
I know it annoys you.
Don't worry, Gary. He's not Employee of the Month.
He's certainly not Employee of the Month. He's he's on disciplinary probation for tardiness.
Yes.
I got a written warning.
You've got it written down. You got written up in the log. You were late again. It was duly noted.
Next time will be detention.
Oh.
All right. This takes me to my point, right? We all have biases, Matt, right?
Of course,
I
yes.
happen to have a bias for fighters from Texas, in case you guys haven't noticed.
Really?
Really?
I had no idea.
It's true, but I admit that. Rob has a bias for guys from the UK.
Yes.
Matt, you have a bias against Texas fighters. Let's just put that out there so that everyone knows.
I don't think that's true.
Wait.
I think he loves Earl Spence, bro. What's wrong with you?
Yo, wait, hold on. Gary, no, hold on. Gary.
This show has been championing for Oliver McCall, Gary. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
exactly.
He's not from Texas. He was just signed to fight. He's not from
He's not from here. Gary, I want to make it very clear. I only have a bias against the guys that you call in and big up. Because it's so easy.
Fettuccine and
no, it was rigatoni. It was rigatoni, man.
Rigatoni.
Yeah, it was a rigatoni. I think it was like a meatball rigatoni. But look, Gary, I think Brandon Figueroa is a great prospect. I think he is gonna be a champion one day. I think Virgil Ortiz is probably gonna be a champion one day. I just really like to shit on the guys that you're hyped on because I think it's funny.
You folded, pussy.
Well, because I'm not serious.
Okay.
And I don't have a bias against Texas fighters, so I like Earl Spence.
All right, let me.
No, Gary, think about this. Gary, think about this.
I think because Spence was born in New York, right? Because he wasn't born in New York.
Oh, wow.
I don't know, but you
deep
have
cuts.
Spence is the outliers. I give you that. You do like Spence. Do you like
Gary's like, no,
Gary.
Spence is different. His mom is from L.A.
Gary, think about this, because you've listened to me for years now, Gary, both on TVB and here, right? So you know me. Think about how big of a deal it is that I have now come to the stage of, Earl Spence beats Terrence Crawford right now.
That is big, right? Because me and you are kind of on the same page. I still think I pick Crawford, right? But it's really 50-50 now. But yeah, you've come a long way. And
Thank you.
Spence is the weird outlier in you. It's like
what about the Charlos? I love the Charlos too.
Okay, that was what I wanted to get to. Okay, you love the Charlos, but when you were naming the next possible opponents for Canelo, you didn't even mention Jamal Charlo. What happens to these mandatory?
Because Gary, come on, That fight's not happening anytime
He's the
soon.
mandatory. He's been the mandatory for it's got to be 2 years now.
Gary.
Let's just be real. The
Oh.
Charlos are not the goods. They both
Stop.
They struggled.
Whoa.
I'm gonna pull his
They are
Texas card.
struggling.
They definitely struggled in the last fights, but let's be honest. Before that, they were
Korobov
great.
a rematch, and he will beat Jamal.
I disagree with that. I think fighters can have off nights.
Errol Spencer from Long Island,
Look,
by the way.
Gary, why I didn't mention Jamal Charlos because I don't think he goes over to DAZN, and that's the only way that fight happens.
The fight has to happen. It's mandatory.
No,
Unless you
no,
think
Gary.
Gary.
Oh yeah, that
Gary,
works in every sanctioning body.
Hold on, Gary, we've literally gone over this before. I've literally gone on this show, shown it to everyone listening, sent you the URL link for the WBC's rules and regulations and how it specifies. No, all this shit can change whenever we say it changes. So, Gary, do we really want to go down this road again? That why the sanctioning bodies really don't have to make that a mandatory and they don't have to make it right now?
They don't have to, but let's just assume that it's next because he's been mandatory for almost 2 years now, right? So let's just assume that Canelo is taking his mandatory, which has been mandated for 2 years.
No,
now,
then that's a great fight. Love it. I think Canelo wins.
Then
I think Canelo wins.
Let's get behind that. Okay.
But
That's fine.
I think that's a great fight. No, don't get me wrong. I think it's a fantastic fight. I think Charlo's a top 10 middleweight, but I just don't think it happens next. I don't think it happens next.
What do you think's tougher, Gary? Let's say Jarrett Hurd steps up to 160. Jamal or Jarrett Hurd for Canelo?
I
Who's
think
tougher?
you guys aren't gonna like this. I'm not betting against Jarrett Hurd ever again because I picked him to lose his last. Well, not the last one, but the 3 before that.
Mm-hmm.
I picked him to lose every one. So I'm never picking him to lose again until he actually loses. So I would pick Hurd to beat Canelo.
I think Jarrett Hurd's a tougher fight than Jamal Charlo.
Stylistically, maybe.
But right now,
Yeah.
he's not in that division right now. So
No, I understand that. I'm just saying.
He's moving out soon.
Well, so Gary, let's get back to what your point is. What's your fundamental point then about Charlo's and my Texas hate?
Well, it was just so when Teofimo Lopez scores a knockout over. And again, I like Teofimo Lopez. It's not shitting on Teofimo Lopez. I think he's an excellent fighter. But when he scores a knockout over some guy whose name we know for years, but we've never actually really seen him fight, I don't think. That's the biggest deal in the world. Oh my God, that's the greatest thing in the world. He's ready for Loma, right? When Virgil Ortiz beats a guy who beat Danny Garcia, who you think is a top 5 welterweight, when
Get
Ortiz
him, Gary.
blows that guy out, stops him in 3 rounds, about knocks his head off, you kind of go, yeah, he's not that good. His power's not that great. There's nothing that special about him. It's like when Teofimo Lopez did something half as impressive as that, it's the greatest thing we ever saw. When
Gary.
Shakur Stevenson styles on someone and wins a 190 decision, oh my gosh, he's the good, he's the future. When Figueroa kills someone, right, a former world champion, and he kills somebody, it's like, Figueroa's not that good. His level of competition is not that good. It's like maybe it's a bias against me.
Yes.
But like, okay, that's the bias against me.
Yeah. No. Again, Gary.
Knock somebody out.
I literally prefaced this entire discussion with Gary. On the real, I think Brandon Figueroa is something special. He's gonna be a champion one day. On the real, Virgil Ortiz is something special. He's gonna be a champion one day. But I like messing with you. So yeah, I'm gonna shit on those guys' performances at times. Yes, of course.
Charlo's a top 10 middleweight. Okay, let's be more specific. Is he a top 5 middleweight? Is he a top 3 middleweight?
Do we still count Billy Joe at middleweight, or do we consider him gone?
Let's not put him in the conversation right now. Until he fights again.
Then he probably slips in the top 5. He probably does.
That's disrespectful. He's number 3. And there's a reason why no one wants to fight him, right? There's a reason why Triple G wouldn't fight him. There's a reason why Canelo wouldn't fight him. Like,
Hold on, Gary. You think stop. You think Jamal Charlo is ranked above? Who's ranked above Charlo? Let's put it that way. Who's 1 and 2? Give me a 1 and 2.
Canelo and Triple G.
So you have Jacobs, who's been a career middleweight, and is actually a middleweight champion and has beaten good middleweight opponents.
He beat Derevchenko and he beat Kid Talkwood. Other than that, all the years he's been at middleweight, there's not that many great names. Sergio Mora, more of a 154-pounder. Like, and Jacobs has now lost
And
all of his.
so hold on. You named a former champion and Peter Quillen. Who was he undefeated at that time? Did he had the draw right to Andy Lee, but he was undefeated, right?
I think he was undefeated. I think that was he was either undefeated or had one loss. He was still really, really highly touted at that time.
And Derevchenko, who was one of the boogeymen of middleweight for a period of time.
Yep.
And you rate what in Charlo's resume at 160 above that?
Oh, okay, so we can't count like the J-Rock, but we can't take his body of work and say that.
You discounted Sergio Moore, so I assume you discount Silitsky too, because Silitsky was 154-pounder before he moved up to 160. So I assume we're not going to count those wins for Jacob. So I assume we're not going to count Charlo's reign at 154, because again, that's not middleweight.
Well, we're saying we're taking his body of work, right? And I would say, okay. So let me ask you this one.
Well, let's do that then. Hold on. No, we can do that, Gear. Let's open it up to the body of work. So it's J-Rock, right, which is what Charlo's best win. And Trout.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
And
then he's got the Sebastian Highland of the world and those guys.
Don't ever say Highland on the show again. That guy literally had no knees.
The one like
Yeah, he had no knees, man. Like I've seen dogs that have deformities walk better than that guy. Okay.
He had the Forrest Gump calipers on.
So you just think that you think Trout, because Trout beat Cotto that one time, so that means a lot, right? That's sort of how you're going to frame it. That's your argument, right? So therefore,
I thought Trout beat his brother too. I mean, I know there's not a lot of people who agree with me on that.
That's fine.
I think Trout's good.
No, Trout's really good. No, I understand. No, Trout's really good. Trout's probably the best win of his career, honestly, especially in hindsight. I mean, look. If you think that Charlo is ranked above Daniel Jacobs, I can get that, because I'll be honest. I think he ranks above Andrade, even with Andrade having a belt. I'll be honest. Andrade's done nothing at 160, even less than Charlo, and their careers at 154 is vastly different. Charlo actually had a good career at 154, while Andrade's biggest win is Vans Martirosyan. So, yeah, I mean, I can't put him above Daniel Jacobs at 160. I can't do that, because I think the 160 career of Daniel Jacobs counts more than the 3 wins at 160 for Jamal Charlo. I mean, how many people has he fought at 160 even?
So then he's 4 there. Okay, fine. If you want to put Jacobs as 3, I'm fine. Yeah, I can switch those 2 guys around. Do you want to put Jacobs at 3 and Charlo at 4?
Yeah, that's probably mine.
5? Okay.
That's probably my top 5 right there.
Okay, fine. Then he's 4. I have him at 3. So we're not talking about a whole big difference there.
Yeah, it's literally splitting hairs.
It depends how many points separate them on your Gary Box point system.
It changes if Billy Joe's 160, though. At least for me.
Because then Billy Joe goes before both those guys.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, those are the top guys.
I guess, but don't you want to see what he looks like when he's not on steroids? Like, doesn't that matter? It's like there's a reason why these guys take steroids. It's because performance-enhancing drugs. I know we have to get technical with that. We can't call.
And also, it's not prohibited out of competition per the WADA code.
Okay, but it is. So it's WADA or USADA? You're the master of all these audibles.
So Billy Joe Saunders Andrade was you have UCAD testing Billy Joe Saunders. That's governed by the WADA code.
Right.
WADA's the Olympics for those that just want to get some connective dots to understand what I'm talking about. But the fight was also contracted for VADA. So VADA, in their rules, has that listed as banned in and out of competition. I forget the exact substance. I think it was a diuretic, I want to say.
Yeah.
I'm amazed that you can keep Vada, USADA, WADA, UKADA. I'm amazed that you can keep those all in track. Like, I can study 8 hours a day for 20 years. I never remember which one is which.
Gary, I've literally read medical studies
90 seconds.
from those bodies, those entities. I've gone deep. So, yeah, I know it, unfortunately. And I do it for you guys. Similar to how I made Rob and Fu listen to Blue Bloods, whoever the fuck, and that shitty interview, because you guys need to know the information. I make myself read studies that I don't understand and then ask people that are more, smarter than me.
You do not need to go deep
60
for me.
seconds.
I'll pause. But look, Gary, it's really simple if you've just been doing it as much as I have and you've been reading as much as I have. That's a lot.
I guess.
Nerd alert.
I just don't know which one. I don't know which one is which. Like, I know the different acronyms. I can't tell you which one is which.
Well, think about it this way. WADA is not a testing agency. WADA is a code. So, like, WADA is the rule set. Think about it that way. They're, what's a really good example? They are more of, no, that's not a good example. Anyways, they don't go and test fighters. Who goes and test fighters is
10 seconds
and uses the WADA code is USADA, for example, United States Anti-Doping Agency. They use the WADA code because they are a part of the Olympic. They're part of the IOC. UCAD in the UK, they're under the WADA code. VADA is not. VADA is not under the WADA code. And there is some benefit to that, and there is some criticism to that. But most testing agencies fall under the WADA code that you hear about, except really for VADA. VADA is the only one that you're really going to hear about on this show or really in any sporting news that is not governed by the WADA code and what they say and what they rule. USADA is, RUSADA, the Russian anti-doping agency, right? There's that one. That was the whole issues, right? They've been fighting for the last fucking 5 years now. It is what it is, man. And it's
USADA, the Germany one.
No, like the Russian USADA is like literally you call it like if you see it in the U.S. because it's in Russian, it's gonna be different, right? But in the U.S. they just say no, fuck it. Put the R in front of the USADA. Good enough. Like if you literally read articles about that beef, they were right it that way. It's hilarious.
I was just joking.
But anyways, Gary, back to you.
Yeah, I called it fired up, and then you kind of extinguished my fire by saying I was only trying to trigger you, which Mr. Accomplice, obviously you did that.
Yeah. But I will say this, Gary. I'll put it this way, just to add some debate to it, right? Because I know you want to debate. Vergil Ortiz, how fast in your mind do you think he should be fast tracked in a sense to a title shot? How quick should that Maurice Hooker fight happen?
His next fight.
Do you think he wins it?
I mean, I don't. Come on, that's like you asked me to pick between my kids.
Which one wins, Gary?
Because they're both Texas guys, aren't they? Yeah.
They're both from Dallas. Yeah.
Are we talking about the fighters now or your kids?
I hope Hooker. I love Hooker. I hope he doesn't listen to this show. I would pick Ortiz. Hooker gets hit too much.
Gary, I'll put it this way. He might listen to this show. I doubt he does. But if he does, he won't be mad at you, Gary from Dallas. I think he'll be okay.
Maybe mad at Fu for suggesting he couldn't take his power.
You don't think that you have listeners, especially you find clips on the internet. I mean, you don't think Hooker's ever listened to your show? I bet you he has.
My show?
You mentioned his name. He started.
I think he's great.
I'm sure he's listened to.
I think he's great.
These guys listen to everything. Like if their name, if you put his name in a title somewhere, I'm sure he's YouTubed his name a million times, and well, what does this guy have to say about me? You don't think he's ever listened to you? I
No.
bet you he has.
Has he ever been in the title? I don't know. I mean, God.
No, because Matt has a bias against Texas fighters, so no. Right, that's a good point.
Oh my God.
Fu literally just said the line I was thinking of saying.
Boom, roasted.
That was epic.
Look, I doubt, to be honest, that fighters care about a channel with 1,000 subscribers. I really don't think they care.
Don't underplay yourself.
Hey, look, it's not about underplaying myself. It's just about being completely honest and self-aware. We are
We'll be completely honest then, Matt. We've got 1,541.
That's
You're
not,
listening
it's not
to
41.
this.
That's not 41. It's 50 something now. It's like 59.
All right,
You need to refresh it. But anyways, Gary, while we do get, in an honest sense, relatively really good views for a small channel, especially compared to our other competitors with much bigger channels, like Tell the Tape, TBV, Ego, Deontay, like anyone that does any sort of podcast, we do relatively good numbers compared to them. And when they have 10 times the subscriber account.
100 times.
Yeah.
So
Dante's got 100 times, right? He's well over 100,000, isn't he?
yeah,
Dante's got a ton.
So it's possible, but man, I doubt it. I really doubt it. I'll be honest. I think a lot of people that listen to the show are just UK fans. Because that's what
just UK fans.
That's what the stats show. Like 65 on any given week, it's either 65% or 75% of our YouTube listeners or watchers or viewers are from the UK. On podcasts, it's the complete opposite. So I just think it's a lot of fans. I'll be honest.
Which is awesome, guys. Thank you so much for listening.
Awesome. But yeah, I don't think fighters really care.
Yeah, so it's just Americans that listen to the podcast.
And then, so back to Ortiz, right? Like, that was an incredible performance against a guy who beat Danny Garcia, who you think is a top 5 welterweight, right?
He's 38.
Ortiz.
Oh, my
How
God.
long ago was he?
Klitschko was 94 when fucking Joshua sparked him.
Yeah.
Come on, Rob.
He was shot when he was fighting Ali. And then Golden Boy put them both out to pasture on the same card.
Can we get back to Breazeale Ortiz?
Sure.
I am. That's what I'm saying.
Ortiz?
Sure. Yes.
All right. So the only 140-pounder I would not pick him to beat right now is Regis. I pick him to beat everybody else in the division.
So you pick him. You pick him to beat Ramirez, Hooker. Josh Taylor.
Ramirez is that good. I think Ramirez is the weak link at 140. I think if you're going to take someone's belt, you're going to take his. I don't think Ramirez is that good.
Josh Taylor.
Ivan Branchik.
Of course, obviously, Josh Taylor. Branchik, Taylor, beat any of those guys.
Man, you don't think... My mind is blown. Ramirez is good. To me, like, I mean, I'm with you, Gary, that Virgil Ortiz is really good. Like, but don't you think it's more like 5 to 7 fights down the road? Like, I don't think he can step in the ring with any of these guys right now and beat them.
Yeah, but the Ramirez, though, was great. Hold on.
Everyone is great.
I'm sorry. Go, Gary. Go. I'm sorry.
My mind is blown.
Put Teofimo Lopez in with the best fighter in the world, arguably, the second best fighter in the world. Everyone's ready for that. We need to make that now.
I never said that. I'm sorry.
Right? But putting Virgil Ortiz in with Ramirez, that's too dangerous? Like, not yet? He's 5 fights away from that?
Gary.
No, I never said that.
Quickly, Gary. You don't argue to imaginary people with imaginary arguments. You're arguing with 3 people here with real arguments that you listen to. At any point in time, have any of us thought that Teofimo Lopez beats Lomachenko right now? Yes or no?
Beats him? No, I don't think anyone says he beats him.
Okay.
You guys are ready to put him in the ring. Well, not you guys, but the boxing public.
Again. That's why I say, Gary, point your argument towards us and our thoughts and our opinions, because
there's also a massive difference, Gary.
Because I'm not gonna argue for boxing Twitter. Like I'm not. Like that's just I don't have the time of day for that. I don't care. Boxing Twitter is stupid most of the time, so I don't care about their opinions.
Here's the other thing is that
hold on, I'm not done ranting here, Fu. Sorry.
Okay.
I think we've all been in agreement here as well, saying that Teofimo Lopez, Richard Comey makes the most sense, and even that is a step too far. Like, that is a fight that Richard Comey should be the heavy favorite in, honestly. But the division is honestly not really deep for a top 15. A lot of prospects that are kind of untested are slipping in the top 10. Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, Joe Cordina. You can name a lot of prospects at 135 that are slipping in because there's just a lack of good names that are in that top 15. There's some really good names in the top 5, top 10, but top 15, no. So some guys are slipping in there. But again, Teofimo Lopez, the reason why he gets more hype than Vergil Ortiz, is because of his personality. You have to admit that. Like, Vergil Ortiz is fucking white bread, boring. He is that bland. More like wheat bread, even more bland. And also, Teofimo Lopez, when he boxes...
Not because...
Gluten-free.
Anyway, I don't know what you guys are laughing about. I must have said a joke on accident. Teofimo Lopez looks like a better boxer. Like when you watch these two side by side, one looks like he is a completely different specimen. One looks really good. Looks like he has all the fundamentals down, great power, but that's kind of it. And let's be honest, that's a large part due to the camp he's in, which really pushes that style, that very basic minimalist style, and it does wonders if you have power and you have durability. If you get those fundamentals down in Robert Garcia's gym, because you will go far. But at the very, very top, you are limited. Teofimo Lopez, to me, doesn't seem limited. It may be too early, but he's not limited. And that is a key difference in how I see Teofimo Lopez and Vergil Ortiz, even though both are great prospects. And both going into big fights would be too soon. But one just looks better.
There's another key difference. Vergil Ortiz didn't win and then call out Ramirez.
Or anyone.
He didn't go like, I want to fight for a belt.
He's called out Hooker. He's called out Hooker several times. And he said him and Oscar both said that they wanted to fight for a title before the end of 2019.
Okay.
He's called out Hooker before. And that's a fight.
I think Hooker's
right?
the easiest of all.
And also, Gary, you have to you have to have noticed this. Ortiz does not get nearly the same corporate push that Teofimo Lopez gets. It's not even remotely close.
Why? You want him to do if he does a backflip and forces or whatever dance he does from that video game? I feel old now. What is the name of that video game that he does the dance?
Fortnite, and I felt nasty saying that.
I feel so old on the show.
It's not that. It's not Gary. It's not that. That's not what I'm talking about. Think about how much Top Rank just tweets about him. How much ESPN tweets about him. How much does Golden Boy and DAZN, two companies that are objectively far smaller than Teofimo's connected corporations, do you see them push him nearly the same? No, not at all.
And they don't need to yet.
And to be honest, he's not the guy you do that for. He's the blue-collar guy, man. He is that. He's your blue-collar guy that you go in there, and he's the Rocky. He's the guy that's going to get paid not a lot. You're not going to put a lot of money invested into him because he's not a superstar. Teofimo might be. That's the difference.
Hang on. Is Errol Spence a superstar?
Errol Spence,
just put
I would say
50,000 people in a stadium.
Was he a superstar? No, but he's a star.
He did 50,000. He sold 50,000 tickets and did 400,000 pay-per-view.
Did he?
Yeah, he's a star.
How many of those were Garcia fans?
Gary, Leonard Sterling's asking, who do you think wins between Vergil Ortiz and Yves Ulysses Jr.?
Oh, come on, really? I like Ulysses. He's a good boxer. He's a good mover. No, really? You want me to answer that question?
Well, Leonard does.
Ortiz.
Leonard Sterling's asking.
Well,
I think Virgil Ortiz knocks him out. He hangs out. He's absolutely got great legs. But when he lost to Claggett, you saw he would stand against the ropes. You do that against Virgil Ortiz, you get knocked out. So I like Ulysses. I think he gets knocked out.
So back to your point about Spence and being a star. What was that about?
Okay, so Errol Spence, does he have some big grandiose personality, or is he pretty laid back?
But see, Gary, you misunderstand what my
He
argument
should.
is. No, Gary,
Okay,
you don't understand my argument. That's why I'm going to reiterate it. Take away the Fortnite dances. Tio could do whatever he wants. Top Rank is going to push him. ESPN is going to push him. Why? Because he's a very good boxer and he's Puerto Rican, so he has that base. And you know Bob. Bob loves Puerto Rican boxers, so he's going to push. So, yes, he does have that big personality, but regardless of that, the corporate push is massive on Teofimo Lopez. Regardless of the dances, regardless of the personality, the corporate push, the amount of tweets, the amount of social media posts they post about that guy, that kid, is a lot. Comparative to, even though they're smaller companies, DAZN and Golden Boy, they don't really push Virgil the same way. So, of course, the fandom, the community, boxing Twitter, they're going to receive both guys very different because one guy's in their face constantly. One guy is never in their face. I'll put it this way. I've never gone on Twitter, Gary. You know me. I'm always on social media. I'm always out there trying to find information for you guys. I never randomly come across a Golden Boy DAZN tweet about Virgil Ortiz. Never once in my life. I've stumbled upon thousands of Top Rank and ESPN tweets about Teofimo Lopez. Thousands.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. One guy is pushed way more by a bigger body, right? Like he's pushed more by a bigger program network. That's true. Why do you? I mean, you think it's because Ortiz's personality is
that's probably a root cause of it in a way, but also again, I don't think it's innately that. I don't
think it's that he's ready yet for that.
Well, it's just the realities of the companies. Like Golden Boy is not the same company that Top Rank is. Like it just is not. ESPN is far, far bigger than DAZN in the U.S. So it's just overall reach value is just completely different. You can't overcome that. You just can't. Not right now. You can't. Virgil Ortiz could have the biggest personality possible, and that is still a large shadow to overcome.
Well, and Golden Boy put a lot of backing behind Jaime Munguia.
They put a lot of backing behind Ryan Garcia, who's not half as good.
Exactly. But he's got that personality. Tons of followers. Like, he's going to sell tickets.
He's headlining. Think about that. He's headlining. Ortiz isn't.
Ortiz is absolutely better.
Also,
than any of those guys.
To put that in perspective, Teofimo Lopez's next fight is headlining. That's a big difference. Like when you are getting a headlining position, that shows your status, regardless of ability. And again, I think ability, even then, I can see why, if you're just watching those two fighters fight, why people would be more hyped about Teofimo Lopez. Just watching them.
I bet you Virgil Ortiz's next fight he will headline because it's DAZN and Golden Boy. They don't
have much.
they have fighters who shouldn't be headline. So I bet you Virgil Ortiz's next fight he headlines. And that's why they put him in the co-main yesterday.
Yeah, and I also think they know that Munguia is very vulnerable, and they're going to have to start searching for the next
guy to push.
They got Canelo, obviously, but they've got to find the next guy to push because Munguia is not going to be a belt holder for.
And Canelo is going to be in 5 years not the same guy. So the time is ticking right now on finding that next guy to be your cash cow. I don't think Ortiz is it, to be honest, but that's beside the point.
And then real quick, we went on that, and Jacobs. We talked about that. I scored it a draw. I had it 114.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about the judge, and I want to talk about that. That judge Moretti,
Carl Moretti,
scores every There's one now, not the one that works at Top Rank. His brother, who's the judge. Is it Carl or Dave, or what are their names?
Dave Moretti. Yes.
Dave Moretti is the judge. Carl Moretti works at Top
Yes.
Rank. Okay.
Sorry, my bad. Yes.
Dave Moretti. He literally scores every single Canelo fight. How is that not a conflict of interest? Especially when he is like, everyone was shocked and outraged about Adelaide Burke. Moretti, and I don't want to get into which one's worse, he's as bad as Adelaide Burke. Possibly worse. He has some ridiculous scorecards. He scored Pacquiao, Jesse Vargas, 114, 113. That means only the knockdown was the difference. Right? He scored Canelo versus Cotto, 119, 109. Means Canelo won one round. Cotto won one round in that fight. He's got epically bad scorecards. He scored Pacquiao over Marquez in the third fight, which is terrible, right? But somehow he keeps getting Canelo fights. Like, how can that be when he's documented as terrible?
It's the same reason why all these big-time judges get the same big-time fights, because they're known, and it's a clubhouse. Like that, it's a yacht club.
But why was it?
You know, like, they all know each other. They're all friends. They all get along.
So,
there's no accountability for it. They don't care.
When Adelaide Burke's name was mentioned as being in the pool of possible judges, everyone was like, that's ridiculous. And they're right, it is. You should not be scoring any fights, especially the biggest fight of the year. Right? But neither should Moretti. But no one, like, there's no outrage about play. Like, it's just accepted, like, that he's bad and that he's going to score the fight. And he did fine. He scored a 15-13 for Canelo. That's a fine scorecard. So he did fine. But he shouldn't even be there. Like, he's got enough bad stuff on his track record. It's like, no, you don't get to score mega fights like this. And I don't understand, like, why there's not at least outrage from the fans. I mean, maybe they don't know, like, they don't follow judges.
It's just that they don't know.
They don't know.
Bird kind of came under fire because it was a Triple G Canelo fight. It was a monster fight.
And let's be honest, she's also a woman. So
that's probably kind of true too.
I mean, and let's be honest, boxing fans a little bit sexist, so that adds to it. Also, I mean, literally these three judges, Dave Moretti, Glenn Feldman, and Steve Weisfeld, are probably on every major fight card around the world. So
Glenn Feldman's really good, though. I would say Glenn Feldman is the best judge, and I would say number two, only because her resume doesn't have as many big fights, Lisa Jampa. She's never gotten a scorecard wrong. Like,
no, you're right.
Wrong.
No, Glenn Feldman's good. And look, he is the only judge out of these three that scored the last 2 rounds for Canelo, which is crazy. The fact that Dave Moretti and Steve Weisfeld scored 11 and 12 for Daniel Jacobs. That is absurd.
That was wild, man.
They gave the 12th round to Jacobs?
Yeah. Both of them. Both 115, 113 cards had the last 2 rounds for Jacobs.
Yes.
They had the exact same scorecard round for round. Did you see that? Every single round, they scored the same. It's pretty wild.
So did you and Matt.
Scoring the 11th for Jacobs, right? That was one of the even rounds. I thought I could see that going.
Someone's jealous they fell asleep.
Sorry, Gary. Rob is being petty.
No, I'm just saying you can't make that point. They had the same scorecard. So did Matt and Fu last night. They both agreed with each other.
Yeah, but we both gave Canelo the last 2 rounds.
Yeah, it's not the fact that they have the same scorecards. It's that they have similar bad scorecards in a sense, or at least some bad rounds, and they are exactly the same.
Yeah.
But I'm not implying a conspiracy because I know instantly people are thinking that's what we're doing.
You said last night, Matt, it's difficult when you're there.
It is. I think it's very difficult to judge fights live,
which is why they shouldn't be there.
It's hard to see stuff at times.
Yep.
I think all on top of that, like ringside is the worst seat to have. Like, in terms of actual like watching the action, a great atmosphere for the fight, but you can't see shit when the fight gets to the other half of the ring. And then if there's a cameraman in your way, you're fucked. It's not gonna be a good time. You're gonna be looking at the screens the whole time.
The crowd reactions. There's so much that
I'm all in favor because I, like you sort of alluded to, Rob. I'm always of the mindset that judging and reffing is more about incompetence and lack of training and lack of accountability, lack of innovation. Those are the issues with regulation, not really corruption. Not so like it's not money exchanging hands. It's just that no one like actually does their job, and no one's trained to do their job. That needs to happen. On top of that, I would love 5 judges. I would love them to be in separate rooms, to be monitored by the commission, so that no one can be bothering them. No one, can upset the process in any way. I would love for them to experiment. I know New Jersey has been for the last few years an off-TV regional cards. Hopefully someday we see the data from that and the comparisons on how fights are scored, via different systems and the old systems, because that's what they're trying out. But until that happens, we're going to get the Dave Moretti's of the world all the time, Gary. Like they're never going to go away.
Other things that I would like is like interviews with the judges, just like the other people have to do media. Like if there's if it comes down to like some kind of controversy, like you need to answer questions about why did you give that round to that fighter? Like what did you see? Like, because that would clear up a lot of it.
Do they interview like football officials over there and stuff like that?
Yep. It would be just like that in the big sports. But think about it, the big sports, they have like I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry, Rob. I didn't see you talking. But it's like the refs have unions, right, in the big sports, so they're able to negotiate that. They have spokespeople that are the ones in charge of that. If you notice, I think like NBA have the guy in Connecticut or whatever they go to in the back that works for the NBA Refs Association, and he's the one that tells them what's the rules and everything like that. I think NFL does the same thing. I would assume soccer, football in Europe is the same exact way, but there's a literal process of collective bargaining with unionization that allows for that to happen, that forces that to happen. That's why we don't get this here. There's no apparatus to force any accountability for any of the parties involved with the commissions. Zero. Gary.
Yeah. I guess that's And usually I don't have a problem with the referees, right? It's usually just the judges. I mean, there's been some bad refs here and there, but mostly they get the better refs in the bigger fights. That's not usually a problem. I guess that's because it's more visual. Like people see the refs during the fight. But like, Moretti's been around forever and he's bad. Like, I don't understand. Like, why would the commission have the commission say no? I'm not approving him. He's got to go back. He's got to go back to the club circuit. He's got to work his way back up if he wants to get into these type of fights. Like I said, Lisa Jampa, if you go back and you look at Lisa Jampa's scorecards in title fights and televised fights, she never gets a scorecard wrong. I mean, you might disagree a round or two here and there, but like she never hands in a ridiculous, 118, 110 Canelo scorecard. So like, why wouldn't they say here's the judges, like Nevada, say here's the judges we approve of for a title fight. Pick from these judges.
Who's handing? No. Who's handing what to who? Are the promoters handing that sheet to the commission, or?
Yeah, the commission's like, these are our championship judges. So if you want to have a championship fight in Nevada, these are the judges you can pick.
Well, the commission picks them. What are you talking about?
Well, the promoter picks them.
The promoter has veto power. I should probably specify that. They have more like veto power. So.
Adelaide Bird, veto.
It's more. It's more like that. Like, hey, we don't want that ref. We don't want that judge. Like, you get that. You don't get Golden Boy, Top Rank, Matchroom going to the commission saying, "Here's our list of refs and judges for the fights. You guys have to sign off on it." It's actually the exact opposite. Like the commission are the ones that are saying, "Hey, here are the refs and judges we want for the card." Promoters, does that sound okay? Cool. No, you don't want that person. Okay, we'll replace him with this person. That's more of how it happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the last commission hearing I saw. Sorry, not to interrupt, but the last commission I saw, they replaced. I want to say, it wasn't Jack Reese. It was what's the guy that looks like he's a Marine? The short, stocky guy looks like he's a Marine. You guys know what I'm talking about? The ref? No, clean cut dude.
No.
He looks like a jarhead.
I sort of know who you're talking about, but I don't know.
I don't know his name. I always forget his name, but that guy. I remember. I think it was. I think it was like Golden Boy or something like that. They didn't want him to be a ref, and they brought in Vic Darchinyan. And like the commission head was like, "What about Victor Archinian?" Everyone's like, "Okay, good." And that's how it went on. Like that's literally how the process goes.
Okay, and it would be Vic Dracula, because if it was Victor Archinian, that would be the former.
Sorry,
bantamweight
yes,
champion.
sorry, Dracula.
That would be weird.
Yes, sorry, my bad, man. Same, they're all Vics, man. You know.
That's really all I got. I took up a lot of time. That's all I got.
Thank you for the call, Gary. Always appreciate it, man.
Thanks, Gary.
You did. It's like 1 a.m.
Yeah, this is a long show.
I know I was late, so you got your own back, I guess.
No, but we still went long. This is still an hour and a half, not an hour, 2.5 hour show, guys. I mean, look at us.
Oh my goodness. We rock.
We have Game of Thrones in an hour. That's how late we are.
I'm gonna have to start it late tonight because I'm gonna have to push. I can't push the family time back. Gotta hang out with the little guy.
Yo, little guy. Here's some Legos. I'll be back in an hour. That's what I would do. But anyways,
you've got to go and watch.
That's what I do. Literally what I do. I was like, here's some Legos. Go play.
I'll watch the cartoon. What was it? Comic book thing.
Yes, I'm gonna try to do that tomorrow night after work, Matt.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
You just look, Fu. You don't have to lie, okay? Like it's okay. We can still be friends. Maybe.
I had 3 hours for a show or 3 hours for in-game. I chose to be here with you guys.
You know, I was actually wondering about that before the show started. I'm like, oh, watch Fu get on this show and say at some point, look, I didn't see the movie because I picked to do the show with you guys. Isn't that what you wanted, Matt? Isn't that what you would have wanted, me to be on the show with you?
You guys know me so
and
well.
I would say, no, that's not what I want you to do. Go watch Endgame. Me and Rob could have done this fine. We were arguing without you. We don't need you.
Yeah.
But anyways, final thoughts time. Canelo, pound for pound #1. Jacobs, still top 5 at worst in the division. Cannot wait to see what's next for both guys, to be honest. I think Jacobs showed us again, even in a loss, that he is still elite. You know, he's going to show us in the tune-up that he is maybe not elite, but then when he fights a good guy again, he's going to show us all the levels that he has. Always love how Daniel Jacobs is one of those guys that just fights the level of his competition. But digressing, better be arguably career best performance as well, but no one seems to care or have noticed it. Deontay Wilder saying that the AJ fight's not happening next. Shocker. I'm Matt Tips Honey. Find me, Matt Hunter, MCR, all platforms. Fugatti.
Fugatti MCR on all platforms. Great show, guys. Thanks for the lively chat in the top chat. You guys rock. Thanks everyone for being here. Catch us.
Rob.
UK Rob, MCR, Instagram and Twitter. Make sure you share the show, subscribe, tell everyone we're here. Canelo done his thing. He's just getting better and better, I think. Next move for both guys, I can see them both at 168, to be honest. Jacobs alluded to the fact that it's getting that a little bit harder, squeezing down. He's a big guy, so I can see him at 168. And Canelo, I think he's going to make that little venture into 168, but I'd like to see him get Andrade, go undisputed first. So, we'll see. And the usual heavyweight merry-go-round. But, way back when Joshua Wilder were negotiating, I think I had hair. I think that it was dark hair. And this is what this division has done to me. But catch you later on the next one.
Peace.
I'm Phil. I'm very Phil.
Stay off the weed.
That's stupid. Use your common sense.
You piece of shit. I'm gonna fucking kill you. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you.
Hey, pussy, are you still there?